Chapter 111. With the 5 attribute points in hand, Lin Yuan directly submitted the mission. Everything the flaming red crocodile king could pay was taken away by him, including its own life. Lin Yuan was just a normal person in his previous life. Although he was involved in cultivation in this life, he was just a normal demon beast. Even if he wanted to, he wouldn't be able to play with the flaming red crocodile king's soul. Ding. Congratulations to host for killing the flaming red crocodile king. Mission Battle of the Beast Kings completed. Completion rate is 80%. Evaluation is A-. Rewards are being calculated. Host has killed the flaming red crocodile king. Reward, 5 attribute points, flaming red crocodile scale X1, already stored in the resource storage. The system notification sounded in his ears. Lin Yuan glanced at his attribute panel. Including the reward, he received exactly 10 attribute points. After adding them to the panel, he would be able to break through to the wisdom realm. As for the flaming red crocodile scale, Lin Yuan directly skipped over it. His resource warehouse was already filled with items, but he had yet to successfully summon the resource warehouse panel. The system did not directly tell him what the items he obtained from killing his opponents were used for. It was likely that they would be used in some sort of unlocked model. Let's start counting first. Standing in front of the flaming red crocodile king's treasury, the profound ice duck's eyes revealed a strange look. This black snake's ruthless and unruly reputation was not a secret in the circle of demon beasts. But it didn't think that this black snake would be so arrogant. Hearing that the flaming red crocodile king might have a desolate demon beast as a father couldn't extinguish its killing intent. What if these demon beasts with no background fell into the hands of this black snake? If this was a novel model, the Xian Bingyang at this moment would probably have the idea that this child must not be left alive, and then brainlessly provoke friction between her and Lin Yuan, and finally be eaten by Lin Yuan together with her skin and bones. Unfortunately, this was not a novel model. The profound ice duck was also not a short-sighted leader of a small clan. Towards Lin Yuan's ruthlessness, it had secretly decided that if there was no reason to, it would not become enemies with Lin Yuan in the future. Lin Yuan replied absent-mindedly. He really had no interest in the treasury of a fire-type demonic beast. However, since he was already here, he had to take a closer look so that he could remember how much this pair of lovebirds had taken from him, so that he could collect the debt later. However, the work of counting didn't have anything to do with Lin Yuan. The profound ice duck led Mendo into the treasury. First, they roughly counted the number and value of the phase. Then, according to Lin Yuan's promise, the profound ice duck took away 70% of the phase and signaled Mendo to move the rest. Lin Yuan, on the other hand, was thinking about the flaming red crocodile king's every move. The system didn't notify him that his relationship with any faction had worsened. Obviously, the news of the flaming red crocodile king's death hadn't spread yet. Or perhaps, its father in the desolate demon realm was just like what Lin Yuan was thinking. But if it was the latter, Lin Yuan couldn't explain it. The flaming red crocodile king's mocking eyes before it died made it seem like Lin Yuan was really going to die. It was just one step ahead of him. Ding discovered one high-grade ice heart fruit. The system broadcast once again appeared in Lin Yuan's mind. Lin Yuan's body trembled. He suddenly turned his head towards the direction of the profound ice duck. When the system gave out the notification, he felt an extremely strong ice attribute spiritual energy from the pile of junk behind the profound ice duck. The ice heart fruit is one of the rare fruits of heaven and earth. It doesn't depend on any plants to grow. Even a weed by the roadside can grow into an ice heart fruit. It is said that the ice heart fruit is the spirit of the ice element in the world. If one is lucky enough to eat an ice heart fruit, even if one is an ordinary person, he or she can become the favorite of ice attribute cultivation. Following the system's voice, Lin Yuan's gaze also fixed on the profound ice duck's back. As far as his eyes could see, there was a small azure fruit. It was about the size of a grown man's fist. Its shape was similar to a human's heart. Its surface was crystal clear and didn't even have any color. Therefore, he could clearly see that the sticky azure fruit juice was slowly flowing inside. That wasn't fruit juice. That was the purest ice elemental energy in the world. The name ice heart fruit didn't sound like much, But the system's introduction was very clear. Even if an ordinary person ate an ice heart fruit, he or she could become the favorite of ice attribute cultivation. To put it bluntly, this ability could change the aptitude of the person who ate it. The second ding didn't sound. This meant that although the ice heart fruit had been born, it wasn't ripe yet and couldn't be eaten directly. Otherwise, not only would it not be beneficial, it would also be harmful. Black Snake, are you going back on your word? The profound ice duck saw Lin Yuan's gaze and immediately became angry. This black snake was lying on the back of the black tortoise. It didn't reveal anything, as if it was really inconvenient to move. However, from the way it easily killed the flaming red crocodile king, it was obvious that this guy was still hiding something. It deliberately showed that it was weak and didn't join in the killing of the flaming red crocodile king. This black snake that could kill an intelligent state monster as a level 10 monster, although it wasn't a big enemy, it was definitely an opponent that couldn't be underestimated. Lin Yuan sneered, slowly coiled his snake body, and directly confronted the mysterious ice duck, whose hair was standing on end. If it wasn't necessary, he really didn't want to have a conflict with this pair of siblings over the ice heart fruit. Something that could change one's aptitude might be a dream for others, but to Lin Yuan, who had the system, aptitude was just a joke. As long as he recovered his strength, he would be able to kill those intelligent state monsters. His strength would rise at a speed that would make those monstrous geniuses ashamed to face others. However, Lin Yuan understood this cheating system too well. The item's introduction had already sounded. Then, how far could the mission to snatch the item be? If there was anything to blame, it could only be blamed on the profound ice duck's bad luck. A rootless ice heart fruit suddenly grew out of its pile of phase. Moreover, it was about to mature, which attracted the system's evil gaze. Therefore, Lin Yuan could only apologize. Dodo, who was moving the phase, hesitated for a moment. He placed the phase in his hands to the side and summoned his thick stone staff to strike the ground. His gaze faintly fell on the profound ice duck. Dodo, you go out. I will train with it alone. Just don't let its little brother in. Lin Yuan narrowed his eyes and used his mind to communicate with Dodo. Chapter 112. A total of 28 attribute points, under the influence of Lin Yuan's will, slowly turned into attribute values. In the next moment, Lin Yuan's body started to change. First, it kept expanding. From a 100-meter-long python, it slowly became 200 meters long and 20 meters thick. At a glance, other than a pair of blue and white vertical pupils, it was covered in thick black scales. Ding! Congratulations to host for advancing to Wisdom State. Reward: Wisdom State Gift Pack X1. Ding! Congratulations to host for advancing to Wisdom State. Host can now speak and automatically grasp the demon race's innate skill, lawful embodiment of heaven and earth. Ing. Congratulations to host for advancing to Wisdom State and successfully passing the novice stage. Reward: Innate skill advancement chance 1. Ding. Congratulations to host for advancing to Wisdom State. The system is about to update. Mission detected. Update cancelled. Update will be delayed until host completes the mission. Ding. Congratulations to host for encountering a rare heaven and earth spiritual item. Triggered the mission Fate. Too wonderful for words. Name: Fate. Too wonderful for words. Description: as a snake favored by fate, after the birth of the blood spirit, you have encountered a heaven and earth spiritual item formed by ice elements. Since this is the case, what reason do you have to reject this opportunity? Go tell these demonic beasts a simple truth. There are no allies in the jungle. The strong preys on the weak. This is the truth. Mission reward: depends on completion. Failure punishment. Death. A series of system announcements rang out. Lin Yuan blinked his eyes and looked at Xianbing Yang with even less kindness. Sister, I'm sorry. You really can't blame me for not being a snake. It's just that the system has nailed you into a coffin. The mission reward depends on completion. This meant that if Lin Yuan killed Xianbing Yang and obtained the ice heart fruit, he would at least receive 2 sets of attribute points as a reward. Furthermore, he would also be able to obtain a set of materials from Xianbing Yang. Hence, The system's reward basically extinguished Lin Yuan's intention of obtaining the ice heart fruit from Xianbing Yang. After all, even if Lin Yuan wanted to make things difficult for anyone, he would not make things difficult for himself, right? So many attribute points, how could he not want them? Host, Lin Yuan status. Sky-piercing black python, in the process of transforming into a flood dragon realm. 11/20 innate skill. 1. Identify the enemy's position by smell, cannot be upgraded. 2. Forming an accurate image within 500 meters around the body according to the smell. 0/100, water/ice control. 2/100. 4. Blood sacrifice wish spell. Make a wish with one's own blood or the blood of other living beings, can be replaced by attribute points, as a sacrifice. Whether the wish is fulfilled or not depends on the strength of the wish and the quality of the sacrifice. Unable to advance. 5. Dragon snake scale armor. When the scale armor is in good condition, it can provide the host with a 20% increase in defense. Unable to advance. Translator. Endless Fantasy Translation Editor. Endless Fantasy Translation. The ancient Saint Kings ruled the world because they had reached the lawful embodiment of heaven and earth realm. To cultivators, the lawful embodiment of heaven and earth was the foundation of their Tao. After comprehending this skill, they could control the size of their body at will. The smallest size could not be smaller than the smallest size of their species, and the largest size could not exceed their original size. Can be evolved. Speed, 30 defense, 30 plus 6 attack, 40 demon power, 100 allocable points, 0 martial arts, golden body secrets. 68 out of 100 skills. 1. Death coil, 150/302. Poison of poison wine, 80/303. Tail attack, 40/104. Blood boil technique, 2 out of 105. All things have spirit, can be used to communicate with other living beings. Unable to advance. Items. Damaged feather can be repaired. Petrified eye. Looking at his new attribute panel, Lin Yuan was slightly stunned. Luckily, he had not started a fight with Xianbing Yang yet. Thus, this short period of time would not cost him his life. The lawful embodiment of heaven and earth was a skill that all intelligent demonic beasts knew. However, it was similar to Mengdo, which could only control its own size. However, the name given by the system caused Lin Yuan to be quite shocked. In his previous life, the Taoists believed that the lawful embodiment of heaven and earth was a type of Tao. However, the Journey to the West of the 4 great classical novels only listed it as a technique. It was said that it could transform one's body into a giant. Regardless of whether it was the former or the latter, this skill could be said to be unbelievably awesome. Look at the people in the Journey to the West who knew the lawful embodiment of heaven and earth. There was the Erlang sage who only listened to the tune, but did not listen. There was also the Monkey King of the Dongsheng Divine Continent, Qi Tiansheng, who could wreak havoc in the heavenly palace. Whether a technique was awesome or not, one could not only look at the system description. One had to think about who knew the technique, and what they had done with it. Although this skill had the word pseudo in front of it, the fact that it could be advanced made Lin Yuan's heart burn with passion. After hesitating for a moment, Lin Yuan directly used up the chance to advance his innate skill, and added it to his water, ice, innate skill. After all, against an opponent like the Xianbing Yang, even Lin Yuan had to use his full strength. If the Xianbing Yang escaped from his hands, it would not be as simple as just losing attribute points. If it met up with the scarlet-eyed mandarin, this pair of siblings would become a nightmare that Lin Yuan would not be able to get rid of for a long time. Things often had a negative side. If Lin Yuan could take down the Xianbing Yang here, he could take the opportunity to kill the scarlet-eyed mandarin and eat the entire pair of siblings. Although it was too early and he could not take over their territory as planned, if he could eat up the scarlet-eyed mandarin and the scarlet crocodile king's treasures, this transaction would not be too bad. Black snake. Speak. The Xianbing Yang coldly looked at Lin Yuan, its eyes incomparably gloomy. Because Lin Yuan and Mendo's communication had been through telepathy, Lin Yuan could block it. Although it had a certain degree of vigilance against Lin Yuan, in the end it did not fall out with him. It only felt that the black snake's body was coiled up and staring at it, so it felt that something was wrong. Seeing that Lin Yuan had suddenly broken through in front of it, the Xian Bingyang did not become more nervous, but instead heaved a sigh of relief. It felt that Lin Yuan's sudden pause was because he had broken through too suddenly, and not because he wanted to snatch its share of the treasures. But this black snake had broken through for so long, why was it still staring at it? Don't be noisy. Lin Yuan suddenly opened his mouth and spoke out the common language of the Sky Martial continent. A pair of blue and white vertical pupils rippled with a faint light, and then the blue and white pupils started to change. The left pupil changed back and forth between azure blue and shattered ice white, and finally stopped at azure blue. And at the same time, the right pupil also stopped at shattered ice white. This pair of pupils were different colors, and when the gaze landed on the Xian Bingyang's face, it inexplicably caused the Xian Bingyang to shiver. You. The Xian Bingyang opened its mouth, but not a single word came out. If one looked carefully, they would be able to see that the Xian Bingyang's body was trembling slightly under Lin Yuan's gaze. Chapter 113. On Lin Yuan's attribute panel, the water control ice, which was originally side by side, had now become 2 talents. 3. Monarch of water, your ability to control water has reached a certain level. In front of you, most methods of controlling water flow are so shallow and inferior. As long as you have a thought, you can deprive your opponent of their ability to control water flow at any time. Can evolve. Note. Those who get beaten up are those who can fight. Those who drown are those who know water. 4. Formless ice, your control over the ice element has reached a certain level. You are no longer the little trash that can only freeze water to hurt people. Now, with your water talent, you can even freeze water in the air, turning your ice into formless. Can evolve. Note. The polar region is a very harsh place. When you realize the cold, you are not far from death. It was not a loss to use the opportunity to advance his talent. After all, 1 talent had become 2 talents. Anyway, the system did not limit how many skills he could master at most, so of course, the more abilities he had, the better. Moreover, although he could switch the operation mode at any time with the previous talent, Lin Yuan had to first spray the water and then freeze the water. It seemed that there was no gap, but the requirements for speed and accuracy were very high, and it was extremely exhausting. But now 1 talent had become 2 talents. Lin Yuan did not need to switch talents anymore. Now he could use both talents at the same time. For example, Lin Yuan could sense the water in the air, and then gather the water around a target. Then he would use the ice ability to freeze the target. When the target realized it, he would have already become an ice cube. The formless of the formless ice referred to before the ability was activated. It did not mean that it could not be seen. It could only be said that the system was very realistic. Although it did not mind Lin Yuan taking advantage of the system's loopholes, it would not give Lin Yuan free benefits. The ice manipulation ability was originally an additional ability of Lin Yuan's water manipulation ability. Even if it was a new talent and could be used at the same time, it still had to be used together with his water manipulation ability. Time is running out. Are you ready to die? Lin Yuan looked at the profound ice duck and suddenly said with a smile. The profound ice duck looked at Lin Yuan in a daze. As an ice-type demonic beast, Lin Yuan could feel the ice heart fruit ripening behind him. How could he not know? However, it had been wary of Lin Yuan, so it didn't turn around to confirm what the ice-type fey that had suddenly matured was. Furthermore, it didn't quite understand why the maturing of an ice-type spirit item could make the Crimson Blaze Crocodile King turn against it without even blinking an eye. The Crimson Blaze Crocodile King had planned to share 70% of its treasures with them. Or perhaps, this was its plan from the very beginning? No. This fellow's absent-mindedness earlier was definitely not an act. It was really not interested in the Crimson Blaze Crocodile King's storage. What really made it angry was the ice-type fey behind him that had just revealed its aura. Suddenly, the profound ice duck felt a headache coming on. It had always been labeled as wise and far-sighted, but it couldn't guess what Lin Yuan was thinking at all. Wait, wasn't it just a spiritual item? I'll give it to you. The profound ice duck took 2 steps back and picked up the unripe ice heart fruit on the ground. It maintained a vigilant distance and tried to calm itself down. It tried to communicate with Lin Yuan. Black Snake, you are a demonic beast with a lot of potential. The outer area of the Hengduan mountain range is definitely not a place for you. In the future, you will definitely go deeper. Therefore, my brother and I are very optimistic about you. It's just a spiritual item. If you want, I can give it to you at any time. Looking at the profound ice duck's performance, Lin Yuan thought of the saying that women in his previous life were all liars. Now, it seemed like the female bird was also the same. When this pair of siblings came over to ask for benefits, it could be said that they were like a lion opening its mouth. Until Lin Yuan used the scarlet jade to shut the scarlet eye duck's mouth. In the end, when they saw that the Crimson Blaze Crocodile King had come with ill intentions, the pair of siblings actually wanted to retreat again. They hinted that Lin Yuan would give them a good reward and let them leave. They didn't intend to participate in this matter. Lin Yuan had gotten to this point by accident. Now that he had revealed his true intentions, wouldn't it be too pretentious to say that he was optimistic, appreciative, and friendly? However, it didn't matter. Anyway, it still needed some time to activate the ability. Lin Yuan said with a mischievous tone. I'm really sorry, Senior Profound Ice Duck. This junior has just broken through and obtained some memories from the bloodline. The spiritual fruit in your hand is really too important to this junior. Therefore, I have offended you before. As his voice fell, Lin Yuan really stopped and looked at the Profound Ice Duck with a sincere gaze. The Profound Ice Duck's eyes flashed with a trace of mockery and said with a smile, so that's how it is. Looks like your bloodline is not ordinary. To be able to leave behind a memory inheritance. It seems like this spiritual fruit was born because of the power in your bloodline. Giving it to you can be considered as returning it to its rightful owner. But, speaking up to here, it paused and a trace of curiosity flashed in its eyes. Just what is this spiritual fruit? The wisdom state Lin Yuan was a water-type demonic beast. In the Profound Ice Duck's eyes, it was no different from a big meal. Adding on the corpse of the Crimson Blaze Crocodile King from before, if the Scarlet Jade Dew and the spiritual fruit in its hand were all extraordinary treasures, then it and its little brother could be said to have earned a lot from this trip. Now it only needed to stall for time and wait for its little brother to come over. Then they could work together to kill this black snake, and everything would be fine. Seeing the hesitation in Lin Yuan's eyes, the Profound Ice Duck smiled and said, don't worry. Since it's a treasure born from your bloodline, then it's most useful to you. To other demonic beasts, it's better than nothing. I'm more inclined to cultivate a strong and reliable ally, so I'm really just curious. So that's how it is. Lin Yuan showed a look of sudden realization, and immediately said with a smile, the name of this spiritual fruit is You Are Really Stupid. You are really stupid? This spiritual fruit's name, no. The Profound Ice Duck almost instinctively wanted to flap its wings to dodge. However, it didn't feel the existence of its wings. At the same time that it had this thought, Lin Yuan had already activated his ability and turned all the water molecules attached to its body into ice. In the blink of an eye, the Profound Ice Duck was turned into an exquisite ice sculpture by Lin Yuan. Although it was only a thin layer, Lin Yuan was now a wisdom state demonic beast, and his talent had been upgraded to the second stage. Moreover, he had launched a surprise attack, so of course it wouldn't be easy to remove it. Therefore, Lin Yuan slowly moved his body in front of the Profound Ice Duck, and gently removed the ice heart fruit from its mouth. Ding! The system's notification sounded at this moment. This ice heart fruit had matured. Chapter 114. Although Lin Yuan acted suddenly, he didn't expect to use ice magic to kill an ice monster with a higher level than him. He just wanted to temporarily control the ice monster, so that he could snatch the ice heart fruit. As for giving it a fatal blow before it escaped, Lin Yuan pondered for a moment, and gave up this tempting idea. He wasn't clear about his current ice control ability. His attack might not be able to kill the Profound Ice Duck, but it might even help the Profound Ice Duck break out of the seal. Lin Yuan suddenly turned his head and looked gloomily in the direction of the treasure house. An extremely rich fire element aura was gathering there, which made him, a water monster, feel extremely uncomfortable. After waiting for a moment, there was a burst of loud rumbling outside. There was a fire monster outside bombarding indiscriminately. Without thinking, it must be the scarlet pupil mandarin duck. But this guy was so careful. After getting the scarlet jade dew, it didn't directly swallow it. Instead, it rushed to the treasure house of the Red Flame Crocodile King to meet with his sister. Lin Yuan gritted his teeth and wrapped his body around the ice sculpture of the profound ice duck. The sound of ice cracking slowly sounded in his ears. Obviously, the profound ice duck had found the weakness of Lin Yuan's ice magic and was trying to break out of the ice. This method of breaking out could only be heard when Lin Yuan got close. It was different from Blizzard and Chen Yan, who relied on brute force to break through. The profound ice duck was like a student of Lin Yuan's previous life, solving math problems. After figuring out Lin Yuan's formula, it began to solve the problem through its own steps. In this way, not only could it break through silently, but it could also deprive Lin Yuan of control of the ice magic and achieve a counter effect. Good idea, but unfortunately, it was cheated by my brother. Lin Yuan sneered and completely wrapped the ice, turning himself into an oval shape. If it wasn't for the fact that the scarlet pupil mandarin duck was already fighting with the door, Lin Yuan wouldn't have panicked and attacked the profound ice duck. Naturally, he wouldn't have noticed the profound ice duck's ingenious method of breaking out of the situation. It was very likely that he would be caught off guard by the profound ice duck and let the profound ice duck fly away. As expected, the monsters in the depths of the Hengduan mountain range were far from the monsters in the periphery. Just like the monsters in the periphery of the Hengduan mountain range, the monsters in the monster forest couldn't be provoked. While waiting for the profound ice duck to break out of the ice, Lin Yuan was even thinking, the Hengduan mountains had its own set of rules. Could there be a royal court like the nomads in his previous life? Normally, the various monster beast clans would fight for themselves, and the royal court could gather countless monster beasts to form an army with a single order. The more he thought about it, the more likely Lin Yuan felt this was. After all, the living environment of the demonic beasts in this world was extremely harsh. The Hengduan mountain range was slightly better, but the demonic beasts outside were constantly being hunted by humans. Even mountain lord-level demonic beasts were nothing more than delicacies in the eyes of humans. The monsters' side seemed to only be the Hengduan mountain range and the dragon palace of the four seas. The Hengduan mountain range had the advantage of terrain, and the humans were all counting on the monsters in the Hengduan mountain range to block the enemy's army. Therefore, they only hunted and didn't really have a falling out with the monsters in the Hengduan mountain range. As for the dragon palace of the four seas, they were completely far away in the sea and didn't compete with the humans for land. Therefore, the humans wouldn't overly offend the dragon palace of the four seas. Thinking about it this way, it seemed that the monsters in this world were really declining and were on the verge of extinction. Black Snake Yua, the profound ice duck, broke out of the ice with great difficulty and subconsciously wanted to say a few harsh words. However, it suddenly realized that there were only black scales in front of it, and there wasn't even a trace of light. After a moment, Lin Yuan directly tightened all the muscles in his body and began to squeeze the profound ice duck's body. The profound ice duck subconsciously wanted to control the ice, but to its horror, it realized that the ice that it took so much effort to control had melted into a clear liquid on the ground. Dual element monster? The profound ice duck gritted its teeth, and a trace of fear flashed across its eyes. Compared to the Red Flame Crocodile King's legendary father in the desolate demon realm, it felt that the black snake in front of it was the real existence with a great background. Dual attribute monster beasts were not a legend. In fact, dual attribute monster beasts, or even multi-attribute monster beasts, were not rare. It was just that behind each of them stood an incomparably powerful clan. The parents were existences of the desolate monster realm, at the very least. Between powerhouses, the chances of giving birth to a descendant were extremely low. But every descendant that was born had the possibility of inheriting all the abilities of their parents. This was also the reason why monsters valued bloodlines. This black snake that suddenly rose to fame in the Hengduan mountain range, and as a level 10 monster, could it really be the son of some big shot in the Dragon Palace? Black Snake, as long as you are willing to let me go, I am willing to submit to you. The profound ice duck begged in a low voice while resisting Lin Yuan's power that was strangling it. It didn't dare to continue to be enemies with Lin Yuan, not only because it was forced into a desperate situation by Lin Yuan, but also because it was certain that Lin Yuan must have a pair of amazing parents. It was even possible that he was the son of some dragon king from the Dragon Palace of the Four Seas. Although it didn't know why the son of the Dragon Palace would appear in the Hengduan mountain range, it couldn't think of any other reason why Lin Yuan was so terrifying. Ha! Lin Yuan sneered. Last time when Chen Yan swore loyalty to him, he was more or less a little hesitant. However, the profound ice duck's loyalty didn't cause a ripple in his heart. Crack! Crack! The profound ice duck's bones began to crack, as if it could no longer withstand such a terrifying pressure, and could collapse at any time. The great terror between life and death had completely enveloped the profound ice duck's heart. Brother! Save me! The profound ice duck didn't care about offending Lin Yuan. It struggled and shouted loudly in the direction of the cave. Outside the cave, the scarlet-eye mandarin duck, who was fighting with Mendo, narrowed its eyes. It flapped its wings and forced Mendo away. Its body turned into a ray of light and flew into the cave. However, Mendo shook its head. The stone rod in its hand shattered. Then it slammed its hand into the ground. Rumble! Rumble! The cave wasn't spacious to begin with. In an instant, a huge stone barrier rose from the ground and blocked the scarlet-eye duck. The scarlet-eye duck's momentum didn't stop. It crashed into the stone about 3 meters deep before it wobbled out. Its eyes were incomparably cold as it looked at Mendo and said in a cold voice, "Mendo, undo your technique. I will only kill that black snake." Chapter 115. Mendo sneered and didn't respond to Scarlet Pupil Yuan. He just waved at Scarlet Pupil Yuan provocatively. Scarlet Pupil Yuan retracted her wings and stared at Mendo with burning eyes. She said in a deep voice, "Mendo, you should know that even if they are all wisdom state beasts, the difference in strength is extremely huge. That black snake may be able to kill a few weak guys, but in front of a real powerhouse, it is just an ant-like level 10 beast. You don't really think that it can kill my sister, do you?" Mendo tilted his head, didn't speak, and didn't take the initiative to attack. Scarlet Pupil Yuan grinned and continued, "Why don't you and I work together? I will save my sister, and all the spiritual items will be left to you. As long as the black snake dies, you will be the new beast king of Stoneclaw Forest and Scarlet Flame Swamp, with my sister and me supporting you. Even if the nearby beast kings have the guts, they won't dare to touch your territory. How about it?" Although the beast king meant responsibility, which beast in the Hengduan mountain range didn't want to be the beast king? All the beasts in the territory had to listen to their command. Under the condition that it didn't affect the ecological chain, they could also suppress other beasts according to their wishes. Those beasts wouldn't dare to say anything even if they were angry. They also had to offer some spiritual items or beast flesh as offerings to the beast king. When Mendo was still a cub, his biggest wish was to take over the position of Three-Eyed Ape and become the new beast king of Stoneclaw Forest. He wanted to lead the Stoneclaw clan to a higher realm, and even enter the deeper areas of the Hengduan mountain range. Until the black snake appeared out of nowhere. Three-Eyed Ape almost released all its goodwill. Even before its death, it made Mendo swear to assist the black snake well. It was obviously impossible to say that Mendo didn't have any resentment in his heart. After all, the appearance of the black snake deprived everything that should belong to him. However, Three-Eyed Ape's instructions before its death still made Mendo make his own choice. Mendo raised his eyelids and said expressionlessly, "That's all you can do, right? I've never heard that you have any hope of entering the deeper regions. This black snake has just been born. I've seen it grow from a level 7 demonic beast to what it is today with my own eyes. In the future, its achievements are definitely not something that you frogs at the bottom of a well can imagine. What makes you think that I'll give up a big boat to sit on your leaky boat?" The scarlet-eye mandarin duck's crimson wings slowly straightened, and its gaze suddenly turned cold. "All right, since you don't want the face I gave you, then don't blame me for breaking the rules. Today both you and Black Snake will die." Shameless boasting. Mendo sneered and said indifferently, "That's all you've got. If I had both my hands, killing you would be as easy as killing an ant." Having said that, Mendo's eyes flashed with worry. The scarlet-eye mandarin duck was right. The gap between the wisdom state demonic beasts could be described as the gap between heaven and earth. Just like Blizzard and Pinkchio, they could barely tie with him. Although he knew that the black snake had entered the wisdom state, he still wasn't optimistic that the black snake could kill the profound ice duck. It was just that miracles happen one after another to the black snake, so Mendo had a trace of trust in the black snake. He didn't directly join the scarlet-eye mandarin duck to kill the black snake. Inside the cave, Lin Yuan constantly launched the death entanglement, strangling the profound ice duck that was entangled by him. His gaze fell on the direction outside the cave from time to time. So far, the scarlet-eye mandarin duck still showed no signs of rushing in. This was good news for him. It was not that there was no trust between demonic beasts, but for demonic beasts that followed the law of the jungle, friendship and family were things that could be abandoned at will. If Mendo thought that he would definitely lose, it was very likely that he would join forces with the siblings to deal with him. At present, Mendo seemed to still believe that he could win. "Black Snake, that crippled mountain-shaking ape can't hold my brother back at all. You don't know how terrifying the power in my brother's body is. If it wasn't for me, he would have already entered a deeper area to cultivate. If you let me go now, what I said before still stands. For the sake of the expert behind you, I can pledge my loyalty to you. If you really don't trust me, my brother and I will leave directly. We will never trouble you. How about it?" The profound ice duck's expression kept changing, and a faint cold light flashed in her eyes. "Then I'm really sorry. Not to mention that I don't have an expert behind me. Even if I do, I won't let you and your brother go. I have always only believed in myself. If I feel that you will bring me trouble in the future, then whatever you say is useless. For me, any threat that can be killed in advance must be killed in advance." Lin Yuan slowly responded to the profound ice duck. His muscles were still constantly tightening, but he was secretly surprised. Was the gap between the Wisdom Realm demonic beasts really that big? Blizzard was also a peak Wisdom Realm demonic beast. When he was at level 10, he could easily kill it, and the profound ice duck also had no power to fight back. However, Lin Yuan had broken through to the Wisdom Realm, and all of his attributes had exceeded 100 points. The profound ice duck could actually hold on for so long. Although its bones kept cracking, strictly speaking, Lin Yuan's strength seemed to be limited to this step. "Then drag it out. When my brother kills that cripple, it will be your turn." The profound ice duck coldly snorted, and her eyes were incomparably gloomy. She seemed to be extremely angry at Lin Yuan for not giving her face. No expert behind him? Liar. Demonic beast bloodline was no joke. The reason why Mendo could suppress the 3 Beast Kings was because the mountain-shaking ape's bloodline was much more terrifying than the 3 Beast Kings. Therefore, within the same realm, even if Mendo didn't stand at the top of the pyramid, he was still a first-rate expert. How could the Black Snake, a new king, not be investigated? The news of the Jiao Snake and the Jiao Snake had already spread. This Black Snake's realm was far inferior to those demonic beasts, but it could ignore the bloodline pressure of those snake-type demonic beasts. Now it had revealed that it was a dual-type demonic beast. If it didn't have powerful parents behind it, then it would be strange. Unfortunately, the profound ice duck would never understand what a real cheat was. In the next moment, Lin Yuan's snake body swung, and like a black whip, it suddenly opened its mouth and bit the profound ice duck's head, and its sharp poisonous fangs pierced into the profound ice duck's body. "Poison? That kind of thing is useless to me." The profound ice duck coldly sneered and couldn't help but mock. Chapter 116. Ice-type monster beasts could freeze part of their blood at any time, making their blood flow slow down. Even if the poison entered the body of an ice-type monster beast, the speed of its outbreak would be infinitely delayed. But Lin Yuan's poison was something that even Chen Yin could resist. What reason did it have to fear? However, in the next moment, the sneer on the profound ice duck's face suddenly stiffened. because it discovered that Lin Yuan had only injected a small amount of poison into its body, and then withdrew its poisonous fangs. Then, the profound ice duck felt its body uncontrollably being pulled up. Originally, Lin Yuan had only bitten its head, but in less than 2 breaths, half of its body had been swallowed by Lin Yuan. This black snake, is it crazy? The profound ice duck never thought that the black snake didn't intend to use its poison to drag it to death, but instead wanted to directly swallow it whole. Was it not afraid of eating itself to death? Those monster beasts with incomparably strong defense had incomparably weak flesh and blood. If it could chew and swallow the monster beast in its mouth, it would be fine, but Lin Yuan, as a snake, obviously didn't have the ability to chew, so it could only swallow the profound ice duck in its mouth. This kind of behavior was called courting death for other monster beasts. But for Lin Yuan, it was just repeating the same old trick. Even Blood Spirit, who could rely on blood to regenerate, was dragged to death by him. What kind of storm could a mere profound ice duck set off? Black snake, let go of me. The profound ice duck kept struggling, but it didn't have any effect. It tried to mobilize the ice element to attack the black snake's flesh and blood, but was surprised to find that the black snake's flesh and blood was not bright red, but a layer of faint gold. Its ice element magic fell on the black snake's flesh and blood, but didn't even cause a trace of damage. At this point, the profound ice duck was almost in despair. It felt that it shouldn't have separated from its younger brother. Otherwise it wouldn't have given the black snake an opportunity. After swallowing the entire profound ice duck into his stomach, Lin Yuan's body directly swelled up by 1/3. Even the slightest movement made him feel a tearing pain in his body. This was probably a common problem of snake-type demon beasts. All their prey was swallowed directly, so it was easy for their stomach to swell. Therefore, snake-type demon beasts would generally find a place to sleep after eating. After completely digesting the flesh in their stomach, they would then hunt again. In the past, Lin Yuan had done the same thing. After eating, he would return to the cave to rest. If there was a fight, he would not eat until he was full. But the current situation did not allow for that. Lin Yuan could only swallow the mysterious ice duck and then leave the cave. He would join forces with the Mendo to deal with the scarlet-eyed duck. Hundreds of thoughts flashed through his mind in an instant. Lin Yuan even began to consider whether he should directly abandon the Mendo and the phase here, and come out again after completely digesting the mysterious ice duck. After all, he had already recovered his combat strength and did not need the Mendo. Although he would be safe for a short period of time, the drawbacks were obvious. From now on, the scarlet-eyed duck would be his mortal enemy. Every action he took could lead to the scarlet-eyed duck attacking him. Moreover, after abandoning the Mendo, the Shattered Stone clan would definitely cut off all ties with him. The other 3 clans would also not put him in their eyes as a beast king. They might even start a rebellion. Thinking of this, Lin Yuan had already arrived behind the Mendo's raised rock barrier and shouted, "Mendo, I have already dealt with the mysterious ice duck. Open the door." The moment his voice fell, the rock barrier in front of him shattered inch by inch, and the sun outside shone in once again. Also, the scarlet-eyed duck threw a huge fireball. The fireball smashed onto Lin Yuan's body. Lin Yuan's body swayed for a moment before the fireball pierced through Lin Yuan's body and smashed into the ground, instantly raising a large cloud of dust. "Sister?" The scarlet-eyed duck cried out in surprise. The moment the fireball pierced through the black snake's body, it realized that this was its sister's ultimate move. It was a method used to lure the fey beasts into a trap. Therefore, the battle in the cave that no one saw had already been decided. The final victor was its sister, and not the black snake that should have been cut into pieces. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Before the scarlet-eyed duck could celebrate, incomparably sharp icicles shot out from the cave, directly hitting the defenseless scarlet-eyed duck, causing blood to splatter all over its body. "Sister? Sister?" The scarlet-eyed duck, who was suddenly attacked, revealed a confused expression. Clearly, it did not understand why its sister would suddenly attack it. Their enemy, shouldn't it be? "Do you think I look like your sister?" Lin Yuan wriggled its body clumsily as it slowly walked out of the cave. Its dual-colored eyes flashed with incomparable ridicule, and its tone was extremely frivolous. "Black snake, what did you do to my sister?" The scarlet-eyed duck was suddenly shocked. It controlled the flames around it to burn the wounds on its body. As its flesh was burned and contracted, the scarlet-eyed duck had completely stopped the bleeding. Its gaze towards Lin Yuan was extremely unfriendly, but it still asked about its sister's whereabouts. After all, from what it knew, a mere black snake could not possibly kill its sister. I ate it and it's still digesting. Lin Yuan shook his body, and his snake mouth opened to reveal a smile, like the whisper of a devil. I'll kill you. The scarlet-eyed duck's eyes instantly became bloodshot as it stared fiercely at the smiling Lin Yuan. In an instant, a terrifying flame dragon condensed around its body. Even Mendu, who had been fighting with the scarlet-eyed duck before, couldn't help but secretly click his tongue, and then silently move away from the scarlet-eyed duck. The scarlet-eyed duck's furious state was undoubtedly more terrifying than its normal state. If the scarlet-eyed duck erupted with such a terrifying power just now, Mendu had no doubt that he would have been burned into a charred corpse by the scarlet-eyed duck before the black snake came out. The demon beasts in the depths of the Hengduan mountain range were so terrifying. Don't be so agitated. Although I ate your sister, it's not dead yet. Lin Yuan did not dodge. Looking at the flame dragon approaching him, he smiled and said, You should know that there's still a weak breath of life in my body, so if you attack me, you're also attacking your sister. I can withstand it, but why don't you try and see if your sister can withstand it? Despicable. Despicable. The scarlet-eyed duck and Mendu cursed at the same time. However, the scarlet-eyed duck cursed in front of his face, while Mendu cursed in his heart. No matter how unwilling the scarlet-eyed duck was, it still took a deep breath and cancelled its technique. The flame dragon that was about to hit Lin Yuan's face suddenly disappeared, as if it had never existed. Chapter 117. Tell me, what do you want? The scarlet-eyed mandarin duck stared coldly at Lin Yuan. Her voice was filled with fear. After all, her sister's life was in Lin Yuan's hands. Regardless of whether she angered Lin Yuan or attacked Lin Yuan, it was equivalent to killing her sister with her own hands. Therefore, no matter how unwilling she was, she could only grit her teeth and try to negotiate for her sister's release. The playful look in Lin Yuan's eyes slowly dissipated. It was a little out of his expectations for this pair of demonic beasts to be so affectionate. But Lin Yuan still didn't intend to let go of this pair of siblings. The siblings' territory was on the edge of the Stoneclaw jungle, and the last time Lin Yuan went to them for help, they demanded an exorbitant price. Even before that, they almost wanted to take the benefits and run away. There was no trust in them at all. This time, Lin Yuan was even more certain that once the siblings harvested these heaven and earth treasures and their strength improved, they would immediately run over to attack him. It was precisely because of this that Lin Yuan had to make the first move. Furthermore, even if the threat was disregarded, he would not give up on the attribute points and mission rewards. The reason why he and the scarlet-eyed mandarin duck was to delay the scarlet-eyed mandarin duck, so that he could digest the mysterious ice duck. And now it was almost time. Ding. Congratulations to the host for successfully killing the level 2 intelligence perception demonic beast, Mysterious Ice Duck. The reward is 3 attribute points. The system broadcast sounded in his mind. At the same time, Scarlet Pupil Duck's eyes widened, looking at Lin Yuan in front of it. It could feel that there were 2 life auras where the black snake was, but now, there was only 1 life aura left. The black snake looked calm and unruffled. There was no need to listen to the black snake to confirm who the disappeared life aura belonged to. You want to die? This cripple also wants to die. Stoneclaw Forest, Scarlet Flame Swamp. From today onwards, it will turn into a purgatory that will never be extinguished. The scarlet-eyed mandarin duck's body trembled slightly. Sparks appeared in the air around it. The scarlet-eyed mandarin duck's bloodline has mutated due to its grief. It has turned into a purgatory crow. Please leave as soon as possible. The system's voice rang out in Lin Yuan's mind. Clearly, it was not a standard system broadcast, because this time, the system did not even mention the ding. The one who reminded Lin Yuan was the Russian doll, and the system itself did not give any warning. Burn. Burn. Let everything burn. the scarlet-eyed mandarin duck's form gradually changed. Its originally crimson feathers were now a mixture of black and red. Wisps of black aura seeped out from its body, as if it was an existence that emitted an ominous aura. Its original appearance of a mandarin duck slowly turned into the form of a crow. Its body length doubled, becoming a colossal creature that was close to 300 meters long. When its crimson eyes landed on Lin Yuan, they emitted an endless killing intent. Whoosh! A loud noise was heard. The scarlet-eye mandarin duck's body shook, and its black and red feathers instantly turned into fuel. The entire demonic beast directly turned into a huge firebird in front of Lin Yuan. Moreover, these flames were not of a normal color. They were all black and red, constantly swaying demonic flames. Boom! The purgatory crow flapped its wings and suddenly rose from the ground. A terrifying wind pressure descended, and even Meng Do, who was closer to it, was directly sent flying. He crashed through 6 or 7 large trees before he could stabilize his body. He raised his head and spat out a mouthful of blood, then directly fainted. Even Lin Yuan, who was slightly further away, did not have a good time under the wind pressure of the purgatory crow's wings. The layer of scales on the surface of the purgatory crow's body was swept by the wind pressure like a sharp blade, and large patches of black scales fell off. It looked as if someone had just skinned it, and its bloody appearance was extremely horrifying. Your luck is not bad. Looks like the scarlet-eye mandarin duck's killing intent towards you is not that great. After enduring the first wave of wind pressure, you only need to run. Naturally, there will be demonic beasts or humans who will come to take care of it. The Russian doll's voice sounded again, and its tone sounded as if it was relieved. Do you know something? Lin Yuan looked suspiciously at the purgatory crow that was flying higher and higher. He secretly communicated with the system through his mind. The pain of being skinned might be a death sentence for others, but for a snake demon like Lin Yuan, it was already considered a basic operation. Basically, every time he fought, his scales would be torn off. Even if he did not have the habit of shedding his skin, he had already experienced this kind of pain more than once. Therefore, Lin Yuan did not care about his injuries at all. The purgatory crow is a type of demonic beast that lives on the border between the human world and purgatory. They do not have intelligence or fatigue, and only know how to fly endlessly. Through their flight, they shake off the purgatory fire on their wings, turning everything they fly past into a blazing purgatory of fire. Once the purgatory fire lands on the ground, even if it is on a rocky mountain or in a desert, it can be ignited without any source for 100 years. If the flesh and blood of living creatures are used as sacrifices, the fire will grow bigger and bigger, and the temperature will also increase. Humans have a love-hate relationship with the purgatory fire. After all, the alchemists and weapon refiners who have the means to gather the purgatory fire for their own use. The purgatory fire can easily dissolve metals and herbs that cannot be dissolved by ordinary fire. However, the existence of the purgatory fire itself is also continuously compressing the living space of humans. If the purgatory fire can burn for 100 years, it can give birth to its own consciousness and transform into a demonic beast with extraordinary strength. These demonic beasts come in all shapes and sizes, but like the purgatory crow, they do not have intelligence. They only know how to tear and devour everything that stands in their way, turning them into nourishment for their own growth. Therefore, the purgatory crow is also known as the demon sower, purgatory origin, and other such scourges. Once the purgatory crow appears in a place, both humans and demonic beasts must work together to kill it. Otherwise, the consequences are simply unimaginable. The scientific knowledge from the system kept flashing in Lin Yuan's mind. At this moment, Lin Yuan looked at the purgatory crow that had become a small black dot in the sky. Only then did he realize how big of a disaster he had provoked. If this guy flew around the Hengduan mountain range, the entire Hengduan mountain range would burn for 100 years. At that time, all the demonic beasts in the Hengduan mountain range would die. And after 100 years, countless demonic beasts that were transformed from the purgatory fire would walk out of the Hengduan mountain range and attack the human cities crazily. If there was no punishment, the existence of the purgatory crow was enough to usher in the end of the world. Lin Yuan did not have the idea of being a savior. However, he was living in this world after all. With his current strength, he could not even fly, let alone leave this world. If this world was destroyed, Lin Yuan would have to be buried with it. Ding. Detected the strong will of the host to save the world. Releasing the mission to save the world. Ding. Host's strength is insufficient. Monitoring failed. Releasing the chain of mission is cancelled. Ding. This system warmly reminds you. Don't court death. If you court death, you will really die. Chapter 118. Lin Yuan wasn't sure if the system had a mission to save the world. He only knew that the electronic voice just now was definitely not the system's broadcast. Alright, I'll stop joking with you since you're so angry that your face has turned black. I've already said that you just have to leave this place quickly and save your own life. The purgatory crows are far from what you can handle at your level. You only managed to survive because the scarlet-eyed mandarin's hatred couldn't overcome the purgatory crow's instinct to plant the purgatory fire seed. Otherwise, you would have died just now. It wasn't easy for you to survive, and you still want to deal with the purgatory crows? Stop dreaming. Even if you're a cheater, you're still very weak right now. Whether it's in the hinterland of the human dynasty or the depths of the Hengduan mountain range, anyone who can easily crush you to death can smash a bunch of them with a brick. When the host is strong enough, even if you don't want to, you have to shoulder some responsibilities or do some things that you don't want to do. When the host is not strong enough, even if you're a cheater, I can only advise you not to court death. Whether it's in the host's previous world or this world, we're facing the threat of destruction all the time. If you're strong enough, someone will naturally take action. If you're not strong enough, everyone can only wait for death. The Russian doll was still trying to persuade Lin Yuan with a hint of helplessness in its tone. Of course, it didn't expect a bastard who was smiling on the surface, but cursing on the inside to have the heart of a saint who would save the world. This guy was just worried that the purgatory crows would bring a devastating blow to the environment he was currently living in. That was why he was thinking about how to deal with the purgatory crows. If the purgatory crows appeared somewhere else, Lin Yuan probably wouldn't even care about them, and would just sleep until the sun rose. Lin Yuan thought about it carefully, then nodded fiercely. He swung his snake body and rushed into the woods where Mendo crashed into. The thick snake tail wrapped around the unconscious Mendo, and his figure flickered a few times. He rushed out in the opposite direction of the purgatory crow. He felt that the system was inexplicably talkative after seeing the purgatory crows, as if it was hinting at something. However, due to his current lack of strength, the system's only suggestion was to escape. Lin Yuan thought so, and naturally he did so. Whoosh! Whoosh! Black and red flames continued to fall from the sky, either smashing into the forest or smashing into the mountain rocks, instantly setting off a forest fire that kept on spreading. Even if a few balls of purgatory flames occasionally fell into the lake, they would instantly evaporate the lake and continue to burn fiercely. This swamp that used to be ruled by the Crimson Flame Crocodile King was mostly destroyed by the purgatory fire before the new Beast King could take over. Demonic beasts screamed miserably as they shuttled through the forest. In the face of a destructive disaster, there seemed to be no difference between the intelligent demonic beasts and the awakened demonic beasts. They could only roar and flee blindly. Occasionally, there would be some overconfident fire or water demonic beasts that tried to fight against the purgatory fire with their innate ability. Unfortunately, all the demonic beasts that Lin Yuan saw were instantly incinerated into ashes once they faced the purgatory fire. A ball of purgatory fire fell from the sky and smashed directly at Lin Yuan, who was moving at high speed. However, the falling speed of the purgatory fire was too fast, and the area it covered was extremely terrifying. Lin Yuan simulated it 3 times in his mind, but he still couldn't plan a safe escape route. With his current speed, no matter how he escaped, he would be enveloped by the purgatory fire. Clenching his teeth, Lin Yuan's figure flickered again, and appeared next to a herd of retreating demonic beasts. He used his mouth to easily bite the body of a demonic beast, and threw it into the sky with all his might. Success was very gratifying. The purgatory fire seemed to have a life of its own. When it came into contact with the demonic beast, it actually split out flame tentacles and entangled the demonic beast that was constantly screaming miserably. Then it pulled the demonic beast into its body. The falling speed was still not slow, but it had slowed down a little. It seemed to be digesting the demonic beast. Lin Yuan was delighted. He twisted his snake body and followed behind the migrating demonic beasts. From time to time, he would bite one of them and throw it into the sky. Following Lin Yuan's movements, the purgatory fire's body became bigger and bigger, but its falling speed became slower and slower. This scene immediately attracted the attention of many intelligent demonic beasts that realized that they couldn't escape from the purgatory fire. Soon, they began to follow suit and began to attack the weaker demonic beasts around them. They continuously sacrificed the demonic beasts to the purgatory fire that fell like raindrops, using the flesh and blood of these demonic beasts to buy time for themselves to escape. Finally, after Lin Yuan threw a snake-type demonic beast into the purgatory fire, he had already completely left the range of the purgatory fire. Only then did he heave a heavy sigh of relief. According to the strength of the demonic beasts, the speed of the purgatory fire's digestion was obviously different. Therefore, when Lin Yuan had completely left the range of the purgatory fire, Lin Yuan had practically thrown all the demonic beasts around him into the purgatory fire in exchange for his hope of survival. Looking up at the sky that was constantly raining flames, Lin Yuan's state of mind finally relaxed a little. According to the purgatory fire that was constantly falling, although this purgatory crow was constantly flying, it didn't have any intention of approaching the Stoneclaw forest. Instead, it was flying towards the territory of another demonic beast king. The corner of Lin Yuan's mouth twitched, revealing a trace of a forced smile. After all, he could be considered to have dodged a calamity. Otherwise, this purgatory crow would have directly wiped out the Stoneclaw forest and the Scarlet Flame swamp. In the future, he might not even have a place to stay. Evil creature, how dare you? Suddenly, a violent roar came from afar. Lin Yuan was subconsciously startled. He turned his gaze towards the direction of the voice, and actually felt some instinctive reverence. It was as if the owner of this voice was incomparably valiant, and wasn't an existence he could contend against at all. In the next moment, a bright starlight tore through the sky. Countless starlight gathered together to form an incomparably sharp arrow, ruthlessly shooting towards the purgatory crow that was only a small black dot left in the sky. Lin Yuan spat out his snake tongue, and looked at the starlight that tore through the sky with burning eyes. A look of yearning appeared in his eyes. That was the power that he yearned for even in his dreams. Caw. Although the two were separated by countless meters, Lin Yuan could still clearly hear the loud and clear cry of the purgatory crow when it flapped its wings. Chapter 119. The starlight arrow that was approaching the purgatory crow slowly turned black and red in the midst of the purgatory crow's cries. It began to burn and then turned into a large amount of purgatory fire that fell, directly enveloping a large area. The monsters that couldn't escape in time were instantly burned to ashes by the purgatory fire. Lin Yuan felt a slight bitterness in his mouth. From the introduction of the system, he could guess that the purgatory crow was not an easy creature to deal with. Even the monsters at the Mountain Lord level might not be able to gain an advantage over the purgatory crow. However, he never expected that the powerful existence that took the lead to condense the starlight arrow to burn before it even got close to the purgatory crow. Whoosh! Another ball of purgatory fire fell. This time it didn't fall at random, but with a target. The existence that took the lead to attack the purgatory crow was regarded as a thorn in its side. At this moment, the purgatory crow actually defeated its own self, and didn't continue to sow purgatory fire in the Hengduan Mountains. Instead, it chose to kill the existence that posed a threat to itself first. As the starlight arrow burned, endless spells continued to sweep out from the Hengduan Mountains, ruthlessly smashing into the ball of purgatory fire. However, these attacks were simply ridiculously weak to the purgatory fire. Almost all of them were devoured by the purgatory fire. Moreover, the purgatory fire was constantly increasing in size. However, the monsters that were attacking didn't seem to see this scene, and continued to release spells at a certain frequency. Finally, the purgatory fire expanded to a limit. Before a large ball of purgatory fire could land on the ground, it directly exploded in the air. A huge three-headed dog let out a series of mournful howls and kept waving its forelimbs. However, in the face of gravity, it was still as weak as a newborn baby. In the end, it actually died from falling from a high altitude. What the hell is this? Lin Yuan looked in the direction of the Cerberus, who had been smashed into meat paste, and asked with resentment in his eyes. Although Lin Yuan didn't come into close contact with the three-headed dog, the moment it was born, he still smelled an incomparably foul smell. Even though he was thousands of meters away, Lin Yuan almost fainted directly from the smell. Cerberus, Cerberus, Cerberus. That was probably what the host had called this monster in his previous life. However, compared to the legendary Cerberus that guarded the gates of hell in the host's previous life, this Cerberus was much weaker. At best, it could only be said that its appearance was similar. Whether it was in terms of size or ability, the difference was too great. This kind of demonic beast is usually born in the purgatory flame. Among all the demonic beasts born in the purgatory flame, it can be considered as one of the stronger ones. It's just that this kind of demonic beast doesn't have the ability to fly, so it will fall to its death directly. If a demonic beast that can fly is born, then there will be a good show to watch. The system's voice sounded in a timely manner. In the end, it even added a sentence full of mischief. The joint attack of those demonic beasts just now was to let the flames of purgatory devour their own power, so that the flames of purgatory would mature in advance, and then give birth to demonic beasts of purgatory that would take hundreds of years to be born. Compared to the flames of purgatory that can be devoured together, these demonic beasts of purgatory are much easier to deal with, so this can be considered a last resort. Lin Yuan did not overestimate himself by asking the system about the difference between him and the Cerberus. After all, the Mountain Lord-level demonic beasts had to join forces to deal with an existence that could easily crush him, right? The demonic beast race did not have any weapon refiners or alchemists, so they loathed the flames of purgatory to the extreme. They would constantly pour their own power into the flames of purgatory to devour, and then deal with the demonic beasts born from the flames of purgatory. The way these Mountain Lord-level demonic beasts dealt with the purgatory crows was so practiced that it made one's heart ache. Only the heavens knew how many bloody lessons they had learned in exchange for this method. Boom! Lin Yuan suddenly felt an incomparably terrifying gust of wind in front of him, and only then did he retract his gaze from the battle between the Mountain Lord-level demonic beasts and the purgatory crows in the sky. He did not know when, but a blood-red ape had appeared in front of him. Its entire body was covered in black and red skin, and there was not a single strand of hair on it. Its entire body was covered in dense burn wounds, and it seemed to be a demonic beast that had luckily survived the flames of purgatory. However, Lin Yuan's snake tongue flickered as he stared at the strange ape with an unfriendly gaze. This strange ape also had that nauseating stench on its body. Although it was much fainter than the Cerberus that had almost knocked Lin Yuan over from several thousand meters away, Lin Yuan could not pretend that he did not smell the strange odor on its body at such a close distance. It was another demonic beast born from the flames of purgatory. However, this fellow did not seem to be ridiculously strong. It should be because the flames of purgatory were not burning brightly, and it was in a hurry to evolve into a demonic beast, so it produced such a half-finished product in front of Lin Yuan. As his thoughts raced, the strange ape's fist was almost right in front of Lin Yuan's face, and Lin Yuan only managed to dodge at this time. However, it was very obvious that Lin Yuan's late movement was already unable to dodge this attack. A faint golden light flickered all over his body, and when the fist was almost touching the surface of his scales, Lin Yuan successfully activated the second stage of the golden body technique, and a part of his body instantly turned a faint golden color. Clang! The fist of flesh and blood landed on Lin Yuan's body, but the sound of metal colliding rang out. The strange ape was pushed back several steps by the force of the impact, and only then did it open its mouth and let out an unclear roar at Lin Yuan. Lin Yuan, on the other hand, was pushed back a full 30 meters by the strange ape's fist. A large part of the scales that had been hit by the strange ape's fist had already caved in. Although it was far from being able to break through the golden body technique, Lin Yuan's heart still palpitated. If he had been careless and did not activate the golden body technique, or if the strange ape had not attacked the area covered by the golden body technique, its fist would have been enough to directly penetrate Lin Yuan's snake body. The snake body fell to the ground and slid back 4 or 5 meters. Only when it knew that Lin Yuan had wrapped around 2 towering trees did it stop its continuous retreat and stabilize its body again. Looking deeply at the strange ape with his heterochromatic eyes, Lin Yuan tightened his grip on Mendu, which was wrapped around the snake's tail. Then, without looking back, he turned around and rushed in the direction of the Stoneclaw forest. This damn thing was definitely not to be defeated. Strange ape. The strange ape looked at its fist, then looked in the direction that Lin Yuan had fled, and let out an unwilling roar. Chapter 120. After running for nearly 5 kilometers, Lin Yuan's sense of smell showed that the weird ape was still less than 300 meters behind him. It stared at Lin Yuan, who was running away in front of it. The greed in its eyes was so strong that it could not be dispelled. "Are you crazy?" Lin Yuan scolded without looking back. Wasn't it said that this kind of monster born from the hellfire had no brains and only knew how to tear and devour all the life in front of it to become its own nourishment? Why was this weird ape sticking to him like a dogskin plaster? He couldn't get rid of it. Because the host has now surpassed the ordinary snake species. Although you have not completed the transformation into a flood dragon, the blood in your body already belongs to the water flood dragon lineage. If you want to find an existence nobler than the host's bloodline, perhaps you can only pick out a few from the current dragon clan. Although the Inferno monster only knows how to devour other life forms, they also know what kind of prey they can't let go and what kind of prey they can temporarily give up. The system's despicable voice sounded in Lin Yuan's mind. Although he couldn't see the system's body, Lin Yuan always felt that this guy was gloating. The system suggests that the host go back and hunt this abyss monster. Otherwise, the tireless abyss monster will catch up with the host sooner or later. At that time, the host may not even have the ability to resist. The system's voice sounded again. This time, it looked directly at him, but it was much more serious. Lin Yuan took the initiative to stop, and turned his head to look in the direction of the Purgatory Crow. It was still fighting with many powerful demonic beasts in the Hengduan Mountains. Although the Purgatory Crow was very powerful, and had the Purgatory Fire that could devour everything, its attack method was very simple. It would only constantly throw out the Purgatory Fire to attack, which obviously had no effect on the powerful demonic beasts in the Hengduan Mountains. Therefore, both sides were currently very anxious. In a short time, the Purgatory Crow would not be able to turn the other areas of the Hengduan Mountains into purgatory. With a thought, Dojo, who was rolled up in the tail, was directly thrown in the direction of the Stoneclaw jungle by Lin Yuan. He himself suddenly turned around and hit the weird ape with his tail. The pitch-black snake's body was like an indestructible steel whip, heavily hitting the strange ape's body. For a moment, the latter did not react to why the constantly fleeing prey suddenly turned around to attack. It did not have time to defend itself, and was whipped in the chest by Lin Yuan. 40 points of attack power, 1 point of true damage and 3 points of shockwave damage. The strange ape's chest caved in, and it staggered back 3 steps. The pair of bloodshot eyes that were originally filled with ruthlessness spun around as it let out an earth-shattering roar. What the hell? Lin Yuan's eyes widened as he stared in disbelief at the strange ape that had only taken a few steps back. If the same injury was placed on an ordinary demonic beast, even if it did not die at this moment, it would have lost the ability to fight. Ding. Detected that the host is hostile to the purgatory demon beasts. Activating the special mission Shatter the Purgatory Core. Name: Shatter the Purgatory Core. Speed: the purgatory demon beasts do not have intelligence and do not know exhaustion. They will constantly hunt down all life forms in their sight, then devour their flesh and blood, turning them into their own nourishment. For pseudo-life forms like the purgatory demon beasts, physical and mental injuries are not enough to kill them. In order to kill the purgatory demon beasts, the host must find the purgatory core that provides the purgatory demon beasts with kinetic energy, then shatter it. Mission reward. Skill draw chance x1 punishment for failure. Death note. Different types of purgatory demon beasts have different purgatory cores. It could be in the brain, the heart, or even the spine. Host, please search for it yourself. The system notification that popped up in Lin Yuan's mind was then automatically closed by Lin Yuan. This mission should have been issued by the system's assistant itself. It was worried that Lin Yuan would lose confidence because he could not directly kill the purgatory demon beast, so it took the initiative to give the purgatory demon beast's weakness. However, it could not be too clear, so it let Lin Yuan search for it himself. Brain, heart, spine. Lin Yuan lowered his head to dodge the strange ape's fist, his eyes flashing. These places were the common vital points of all life forms, but the purgatory demon beasts had an obvious advantage. For example, if a human's brain received a certain degree of blunt damage, there was a possibility of brain death or a concussion, or even a sudden death. However, the purgatory demon beast's core was hidden in this area. Even if Lin Yuan used his tail attack to crush these parts, if there was no way to shatter the purgatory demon beast's core, this purgatory demon beast would still not die. Once again turning his body to dodge the strange ape's fist, Lin Yuan's heterochromatic eyes suddenly flashed with an azure light. A thick water column suddenly broke through the ground, fiercely hitting the strange ape's chest, once again pushing it back a few steps. Bright red blood flowed down the front part of the water column, that instantly turned into icicles. It's not the heart. Lin Yuan glanced to the side and made his first judgment. With its heart pierced, this strange ape was still roaring, indicating that it wasn't a fatal injury. However, it was obviously not realistic to use the same trick again. After all, ever since Lin Yuan became a wisdom demon beast, although using innate attacks didn't consume demonic energy like other demon beasts, these skills had already begun to have a cooldown. The kind of seamless innate attacks from before could only be considered an extravagant hope for Lin Yuan. Roar! The strange ape roared once again, its left arm lowered, directly smashing the icicle that pierced its heart. That pair of blood-red eyes once again fell on Lin Yuan's body, roaring and pouncing over. At the same time, the gray scale on Lin Yuan's forehead flickered, and a gray light shot out. The strange ape in midair didn't have time to dodge, and this kind of brainless guy probably couldn't dodge. The entire strange ape directly turned into a heavy stone statue under Lin Yuan's eyes of petrification. It suddenly smashed onto the ground, instantly creating a deep pit. Dirt and grass flew everywhere. He didn't know how long the eyes of petrification could control the strange ape. Seeing his demonic energy drop from 100 to 40, Lin Yuan was sure that he wouldn't be able to use the eyes of petrification again in a short period of time. With the thought that time waits for no one, Lin Yuan let out a long hiss, and the tail strike that was off cooldown was launched once again. This time, the target was the head of the ape after being petrified. Boom! Gravel splashed everywhere. Under the influence of the shock, the dirt and grass that hadn't fallen to the ground, yet were once again thrown into the air. Chapter 121. The system's kill notification did not sound. 5 seconds later, the stone-gray color of the petrified strange ape slowly receded. It once again returned to its strange charred state. Even though it had lost half of its head, it still firmly locked onto Lin Yuan, who was not far away. Lin Yuan felt that a curse was about to come out of his mouth, and he had to spit it out. Its heart was directly pierced through, and half of its head was smashed by its tail. This damn thing was actually still alive. Was the system assistant, this dog thing, lying to him? Flames rose up. After suffering 3 consecutive losses under Lin Yuan's hands, even the strange ape that did not have much intelligence was obviously enraged at this moment. A layer of black and red flames slowly rose above its fists. That was the purgatory fire that could even swallow the attacks of demon beasts. Whoosh! The wind from the fist carried the flames. The strange ape's fist swung out a 3-meter-long pillar of fire. Lin Yuan sucked in a breath of cold air, and suddenly rushed to the side, narrowly avoiding the pillar of fire. Ding! The purgatory fire's attack has been detected. The area swallowed by the purgatory fire is automatically removed. Host second rank Golden Body Technique Proficiency -2. The system's notification sounded like an emotionless killer. Mother asterisk cur. After Lin Yuan stabilized his body, he opened his mouth and cursed angrily. The strange ape's fist did not do much to him, but it indirectly made him lose 11 attribute points. The cooldown of the water monarch was already over, but the invisible ice was still in cooldown. Lin Yuan did not think that he could summon another water pillar to hurt the strange ape, nor did he think that his water could extinguish the purgatory fire. After all, the first batch of demon beasts that were swallowed by the purgatory fire were most likely water-type demon beasts that thought that they could extinguish the fire. The only vital points on the strange ape's body were its abdomen and spine. If the purgatory core was not in these two vital points, then if Lin Yuan wanted to kill this strange ape, he would have to directly crush it. Ridiculous. How could such a ridiculous thing exist in this world? Looking at the demonic power that was almost motionless on the attribute panel, and the 30 seconds of invisible ice cooldown remaining, Lin Yuan once again made a heartfelt decision after glancing at the strange ape that was getting more and more valiant as it fought. Run. Anyway, this thing's speed was not as fast as his. At most, he would return to the starting point and run again. After his skill cooldown was over or his demonic power was restored, he would test the other two vital points of the strange ape. Whoosh. Lin Yuan's figure just moved, and with him as the center, a circle of purgatory fire suddenly rose around him. Although this kind of purgatory fire was released at a different time from the purgatory crow, as time passed, this circle of fire continued to weaken. It seemed that this circle of fire would be extinguished directly in half an hour. But that was the problem. This ring of fire not only confined Lin Yuan, but also sharply reduced his combat range. At this time he didn't dare to move too much, because he might lose a little bit of Golden Body Secret's proficiency if he moved slightly. If the strange ape penetrated the circle of fire and punched him at this time, he was afraid that the Golden Body Secrets would be wasted. Those parts that were not tempered by the Golden Body Secrets might directly necrotize. For Lin Yuan's current body shape, and the parts tempered by the Golden Body Secrets, Lin Yuan felt that if those areas necrotized, it would be tantamount to announcing his death sentence. Dog system, King lied to me. Lin Yuan's eyes turned cold. He suddenly thought of a problem that he had neglected before. The existence of the purgatory beasts was undoubtedly an existence that the Hengduan mountain range's demonic beasts could not tolerate. If he kept running away, after they dealt with the purgatory crows, these purgatory beasts that were born from the purgatory flame would be the next clear target. And the strange ape, with its obvious appearance, would definitely be the first to die. This assistant only gave the host a suggestion. How can the matter between the two of us be called a lie? The system assistant's despicable voice sounded again. Lin Yuan was really convinced. This system assistant did not have a lowly's voice or a mature sister's voice, but it could make the system's cold electronic synthesized voice into various tones, such as ridicule, and despicable. In the next system update, I will definitely replace you. Lin Yuan fiercely cursed. The system assistant was silent for a moment, as if it had really considered this point. It did not continue to ridicule Lin Yuan. Instead, it gave a serious suggestion. The host can use the water monarch to create a water eruption under yourself and directly send the host flying out, right? Why do you have to be like a... This suggestion was a good one. However, Lin Yuan had already guessed the system assistant's unfinished sentence from the system assistant's abrupt stop. Why do you have to be like an idiot and wait here for the fire to extinguish? A ripple appeared in the fire circle, and the strange ape that had lost half of its head broke through the fire circle and appeared in Lin Yuan's line of sight. Just as Lin Yuan had expected, after he summoned the fire circle, the purgatory fire that covered the strange ape's fists had already extinguished. Therefore, if such a fist landed on Lin Yuan's body, Lin Yuan would be able to withstand it. Considering the fire circle around him, Lin Yuan resisted the idea of switching places with the strange ape. He shook his black snake tail at the strange ape and sneered. Bye-bye. As soon as his voice fell, the ground under Lin Yuan's body was once again washed away by the water column. The terrifying impact smashed onto Lin Yuan's body and immediately sent Lin Yuan flying. In a C shape, Lin Yuan crossed the fire circle safely. The strange ape that was half a beat slower punched on the rising water column, causing a large splash of water to splash on the fire circle. Looking at the water that was instantly swallowed up, the strange ape lowered its head and looked at its empty fist. It was stunned on the spot for a full 3 seconds before it suddenly let out a roar. Is this thing a snake or a loach? Why is it so damn slippery? I can't catch it at all. Driven by rage, the strange ape gritted its teeth and once again tore through the fire circle and chased in the direction of Lin Yuan. However, what awaited it was a snake body that happened to fall from midair and adjusted its posture by the tail attack skill. Boom. The strange ape was directly smashed by Lin Yuan, and its body suddenly sank. The terrifying shock force spread in its body. In just 2 breaths, the spine of the strange ape was crushed by Lin Yuan. Without the support of the spine, even the immortal strange ape finally lost its combat power. Although it was still roaring crazily under Lin Yuan's body, it could no longer attack Lin Yuan. Chapter 122. Squinting his eyes slightly, Lin Yuan slowly moved down from the strange ape's body. The system's kill notification still didn't sound. After 2 consecutive times, Lin Yuan's heart didn't waver at all when he guessed wrong for the 3rd time. The damn system gave him 3 options. Normal people would think that the answer would be one of the 3 options. However, Lin Yuan, who had personally experienced the shamelessness of the system, had already guessed before the 3rd attack that the 3 options given to him by this damn thing were all wrong. Using his snake tail to flip the strange ape over, he then used the tip of his tail to feel around the strange ape's abdomen. Lin Yuan quickly discovered that there was an inconspicuous protrusion on the strange ape's side. It was as if the stomach had swelled up slightly after eating food. However, it was clear that this strange ape that had its eyes on Lin Yuan hadn't eaten before. Therefore, the protrusion on its abdomen was clearly the purgatory core. Lin Yuan was a snake that did what it said. Therefore, after finding the location of the purgatory core, he directly pierced the tip of his tail into the strange ape's abdomen. After wrapping around a prismatic object, Lin Yuan suddenly pulled the prismatic object out of the strange ape's body. Ding! Congratulations to host! You have killed an intelligence level 1 demonic beast, purgatory demonic ape. Received 3 attribute points. Reward, 10 attribute points. Received material, demonic blood ape arm X2. The system's kill notification also sounded after the prismatic object was pulled out. Lin Yuan took a deep breath and resisted the urge to curse the system's assistant. His gaze fell on the prismatic object. After all, according to the game's classification in his previous life, the purgatory core should be classified as a tool. Now that he had obtained the purgatory core, perhaps it would be the same as the Eye of Petrification. The system would also give an introduction. Item: Purgatory Core Type, Tool Grade, C+ Effect. Demonize living beings that consume the purgatory core, turning normal living beings into purgatory creatures. Note: all purgatory creatures have no intelligence. Even if the host turns his most loyal subordinates into a purgatory creature, they will not be loyal to him. They will only treat the host as food. Please use them with caution. Note 2. There are no trash items, only trash hosts. Although the purgatory core cannot allow the host to gain the loyalty of some purgatory creatures, if this item is used properly, it can still be of great use. Note 3. Although the purgatory creatures created by the host with the purgatory core are the same as ordinary purgatory creatures, once the purgatory core in their bodies is taken out, it will immediately collapse. There is no possibility of reuse. Yes, this is very systematic. There were no trashy items, only trashy hosts. Lin Yuan indicated that this sentence was no longer a hint. It was clearly scolding him, because he really couldn't think of any use for this thing. After all, he had the Water Jiao bloodline. Once an Inferno Demon Beast appeared in front of him, he would definitely be the first target of the Inferno Demon Beast. Therefore, this thing was to create an incomparably troublesome enemy for him. He couldn't possibly eat it, and then become an almost immortal monster without intelligence to fight the enemy to the death, right? There's a F** King Cat Biscuit. Lin Yuan once again lowered his head to look at the purgatory core. His face suddenly revealed a hint of understanding. He suddenly felt that the system's scolding was right. This item really wasn't trash at all. The Inferno demon beasts were indeed difficult to deal with, but the system previously said that all Inferno demon beasts had a purgatory core. It was just that the location of the purgatory core would be adjusted according to different species. If he could know the weaknesses of all Inferno demon beasts, then he could create Inferno demon beasts at any time to gain attribute points for himself. A level 1 intelligence realm Inferno demon beast could provide him with 3 attribute points, and then the system would reward him with 10 attribute points. Rounding it up to 100 million, friend. A level 1 intelligence realm Inferno demon beast gave him 13 attribute points. If he killed an ordinary demon beast, then it would be equivalent to killing a level 5 or even level 6 demon beast. The two benefits might be the same, but the difficulty was completely different. Moreover, even if he didn't use it to gain attribute points, as long as he could trick a group of obedient demon beasts into entering his enemy's territory to consume the purgatory core, he could instantly turn the enemy's territory into a purgatory. Looking at the mission to shatter the purgatory core, Lin Yuan fell silent. This was the first time he could casually complete a mission, but he didn't have any intention of submitting it. Black Snake, come and give me a hand. Mendu's voice slowly sounded. Only then did Lin Yuan remember that Mendu, who was thrown away by him, seemed to be lying in the forest a few hundred meters away. Mendu fainted on the spot because it couldn't withstand the wind pressure from the purgatory crow's ascent. It should have suffered some serious injuries. Otherwise, for a warlike demon beast like Mendu, normal pain obviously wouldn't be able to break its will. However, Lin Yuan didn't expect that Mendu didn't even have the ability to stand up. Twisting his snake body, he lifted Mendu from a tree that was pressed down and placed him on his back. Lin Yuan once again lowered his body and slithered towards the Stoneclaw forest area. He really didn't dare to swagger around anymore. If he happened to give birth to another group of powerful Inferno demon beasts, his current body wouldn't be enough to fight against them. Mendu, who was lying on Lin Yuan's back, looked meaningfully at Lin Yuan. He felt that he couldn't understand this black snake's thoughts anymore. It used the Scarlet Jade Dew and the Flaming Red Crocodile King's storage to trick the siblings into helping it deal with the Flaming Red Crocodile King. After that, when the siblings were separated, it ruthlessly killed the Profound Ice Duck, and didn't even plan to let the Scarlet Pupil Duck go. Such an existence was shameless even among the demon beasts that would do anything to survive. However, the black snake's attitude towards him was completely different. The last thing it remembered was the Scarlet Pupil Duck turning into an extremely powerful demon beast and rising into the sky. It originally thought that it was going to die, but when it woke up, it found that it had already escaped far away. A few hundred meters away, the black snake was fighting with a scorched ape that had lost half its head. This extremely shameless black snake actually didn't give up on him when he was unconscious. Ding! Congratulations to the host. You have obtained 100 favorability points with Mendu because the host has already conquered the Stoneclaw forest. Mendu is automatically under the host's command. When the system notification rang out, Lin Yuan was dumbfounded. What did this monkey think of? Why did it have a guide for him to conquer himself? Other than the Batu that was bound to his ship by the system's mission contract, Lin Yuan gained another demon beast subordinate with full loyalty points. However, Lin Yuan couldn't understand why Mendu would suddenly submit to him. Could it be that he was too handsome? Chapter 123. The Purgatory Crows were far more troublesome than Lin Yuan had imagined. The dominators of the Hengduan mountain range might not have taken action, but the monsters that participated in the battle were basically at least in the Mountain Lord realm. Even so, the Purgatory Crows still hovered over a small half of the Red Flame Swamp and the territory of another unlucky Beast King for 3 days and 3 nights before letting out a wail and plunging into a certain area of the Hengduan mountain range. The price of killing the Purgatory Crows was very heavy. A small half of the red flame swamp was almost directly turned into a sea of purgatory fire, and the territory of the other Beast King was unknown for the time being. After all, Lin Yuan could not pass through the sea of purgatory fire that could devour everything to investigate the situation. However, Lin Yuan could see the situation where the purgatory crows fell clearly. The sky was filled with flames. The temperature was scorching. After the purgatory crows fell, that area directly became a veritable volcano. It continued to burn regardless of day or night. Even during the day, as long as Lin Yuan glanced in that direction, he could see the flames that were so hot that they could directly distort space. Even though they were countless miles apart, Lin Yuan could still feel the scorching heat. No wonder the system said that once such a monster appeared, humans and monsters would immediately put aside their prejudices and join forces to fight against the enemy. If such a monster was allowed to act recklessly, the living space of all life would be infinitely suppressed, and all life would eventually walk towards extinction. Survival was something that all life was working hard for. In front of it, all gratitude and hatred were distracting thoughts that could be thrown to the back of one's mind at any time. Step. Step. A series of light footsteps came, awakening Lin Yuan, who was lost in thought while looking at the volcano in the distance. Immediately, Lin Yuan slowly turned his head, and his eyes fell on the person who came. A complicated expression flashed across his heterochromatic eyes. I've heard about the matter of the Yuanyang siblings. You did a bad job in this matter. You directly killed the Yuanyang siblings without any reason. Even if I have the intention to introduce other allies that can help you gain a foothold in the depths of the Hengduan mountain range, I'm afraid that they will have to consider whether they will be eaten up by you. The newcomer raised his eyes, a pair of mysterious purple pupils slightly condensed, but his voice was abnormally calm. I have my reasons for what happened to the siblings, but I admit that this matter was indeed lacking in consideration. However, your warning to me is very weak. Think about it. In this jungle where the strong preys on the weak, as long as I can bring enough benefits, let alone the risk of being devoured by me, they won't hesitate even if I ask them to call me Dad. Lin Yuan lazily turned his body over, exposing his belly to the sun. He leisurely said, Kid, the world of demon beasts may not be much more dangerous than that of humans, but the schemes of humans will never be as direct as the jungle. If you want to bring the human politics into the forest, I can guarantee that you will return in defeat. The owner of the purple pupils was a human being. After Lin Yuan became the Beast King of the Stoneclaw Forest, he was the only human who had the courage to step into the demon beast forest where Lin Yuan lived. As for his identity, he did not tell Lin Yuan, but Lin Yuan could more or less guess. Even if the person behind him was not a royal noble, he should be a powerful noble with a territory and a private army. The battle between Lin Yuan and the Iron Hand Society had almost broken the backbone of the new city lord of Mountain Blocking City. According to the description of the purple-eyed youth, the city lord's situation was quite bad. He would probably be transferred to another place soon, and soon he would take over Mountain Blocking City. It seemed that after suffering 2 losses in a row, the city lord of Mountain Blocking City, who had yet to officially take over, had an extremely good attitude towards Lin Yuan. He even took the initiative to introduce some demon beasts that were related to the forces behind him. For example, the pair of siblings from before were one of the beast veins of the purple-eyed youth. Lin Yuan was 30% regretful and 70% indifferent about the matter regarding the siblings. He regretted his actions this time. His image had already been fixed in the eyes of most of the demonic beasts. If it wasn't necessary, those demonic beasts whose intelligence was not inferior to humans would definitely not cooperate with him again. However, this was also the reason why Lin Yuan was indifferent. Originally, he had no intention of becoming enemies with the siblings. Even if he wanted to collect debts, Lin Yuan was more inclined to wait until the territories of both sides were bordering each other in the future. He would gradually create friction before making his move. For example, with the Flaming Red Crocodile King, Lin Yuan and the Flaming Red Crocodile King had basically never met before. However, because the Flaming Red Crocodile King coveted the territory of the Stoneclaw Forest, there was friction between them. Thus, Lin Yuan had a legitimate reason to deal with the flaming red crocodile king. However, as luck would have it, an ice heart fruit had ripened beside the profound ice duck, and the system had even issued a mission. Thus, Lin Yuan had no choice but to do that. Demon beasts, could it be that they had the extravagant hope of being loved by everyone? The opportunity to become stronger was right in front of them. Only a fool would miss it. Could it be that when the other beast kings came to snatch the territory of the Stoneclaw Forest, they would deliberately let Lin Yuan off just because he was usually nice to snakes? What a joke! When they were working together to deal with the Red Flame Crocodile King, the profound ice duck's gaze fell on him a few times. It was obvious that she wanted to fatten Lin Yuan up before eating him. Her killing intent was much stronger than Lin Yuan's, who wanted to collect debts in the future. If allies were like this, what more an unfamiliar demon beast? Lin Yuan's actions were actually one of the unspoken rules of the forest. It was just that 90% of the demon beasts didn't do it as openly as Lin Yuan. But the problem is, the purple-eyed youth's voice rose slightly. Right now your reputation is very bad. For a short period of time, no demon beast will be willing to cooperate with you. So you have to be honest for a while. During this time, I won't give you any more benefits. However, I hope that the agreement between us will still be valid. Lin Yuan didn't immediately reply. Instead, he thought for a moment. Lin Yuan turned the snake around again and glanced at the figure covered in a black cloak. Only a small part of his face and a pair of purple eyes could be seen. He grinned and said, "Of course. The demon slayer of Mountain Blocking City can enter the demon beast forest to hunt at will. As long as they don't come close to my nest, I guarantee that they won't have any trouble." The word trouble was heavily emphasized by Lin Yuan. The threat was self-evident. The purple-eyed youth was slightly startled. He said in astonishment, "Our agreement? But I haven't set foot in the deeper regions of the Hengduan mountain range, right?" Lin Yuan raised the snake's tail and sneered. "You can hunt outside my sphere of influence. However, if you enter the Stoneclaw Forest now, you will only shake my rule. Do you understand?" Chapter 124. Half an hour later, the purple-eyed youth slowly walked out of Lin Yuan's lair. The calm water surface didn't cause any trouble for the purple-eyed youth. He slowly walked across the surface of the lake, as if he was walking on flat ground. He paused for a moment and turned back to look at the huge rock above the waterfall. He was so angry that his entire body was trembling. It was clearly this black snake that messed up the matter, but it actually had to take the blame for it. As an influential official of one of the 7 great dynasties, he could have been like the city lord who hadn't been transferred yet and forcefully sent his subordinates to kill the demonic beasts. However, he didn't choose to do so because he knew very well that the reproductive ability of demonic beasts was not something that humans could compare with. This was especially true for low-level demonic beasts. They would have a large nest for their entire lives and would grow into a fighting force in less than half a year. Humans could only give birth to 1 or 2 at most, and would need to nurture them for at least 10 years before they could become a fighting force. Moreover, in a one-on-one battle, without any special methods, they might not be a match for demonic beasts of the same realm. Killing demonic beasts was fine, but killing demonic beasts mindlessly would only drag one's own downfall. Since he saw this point clearly, Junshang naturally saw this point as well. Therefore, although the deal with Lin Yuan seemed simple, he had to endure countless pressures and slowly implement it with the tacit consent of the forces behind him. If he could let the demon-subduing master of Zhanshan City enter the Hengduan mountain range to hunt again, he wouldn't need to work in this place for too long before he would be transferred to a better place. However, if he only took back the hunting rights in the demonic beast forest, it would be useless. He still had to stay here and carry out his plan until he obtained the hunting rights in the outer regions of the Hengduan mountain range. Damn disgusting, greedy, stupid demonic beasts. The purple-eyed young man cursed fiercely, and then he left without looking back. However, he didn't see that after he left the 500-meter radius of Lin Yuan's lair, the black snake that was lazily basking in the sun quietly poked out its huge snake head. Its heterochromatic eyes were fixed in the direction he left, and the corners of its mouth opened again, revealing a cold smile. He had not been idle for the past few days. He had been pondering over the power structure of this alternate world. The Sky Martial continent was an entire continent, and the 7 great empires had divided this continent. The relationship between them was very subtle. One day they might be allies, but the next day they might become enemies that wanted to destroy their country. Their territories would merge with each other, but the structure of the 7 great empires had never changed. In the early years, the demonic beasts ran amok. They were the real masters of this continent, and human beings were just a group under the rule of the demonic beasts. They were very weak and did not have a strong physique, but they had an extremely strong ability to learn and create. They observed the reproduction of the demonic beasts and created all kinds of breathing techniques. They also honed countless highly lethal secret techniques. It was precisely because of this that in the early years, the human tribes worshipped a certain demonic beast as their guardian to survive. Later on, they hunted the demonic beasts for their flesh and demonic cores to grow. Although this period of time was very long, it was undoubtedly an earth-shattering change for a race that could be wiped out with a flick of a finger. Today, the humans had completely dominated this continent, and the majority of the demonic beasts were exterminated. A small number of demonic beasts hid in the Hengduan mountain range to survive. Even so, the humans did not let go of the Hengduan mountain range, which was the final resting place of the demonic beasts. The appearance of the demon slayer profession was like a butcher waiting for pigs to mature. They were constantly plundering the resources of the demonic beasts to strengthen the humans. However, the humans did not dare to take too much. This was because the 7 empires were not completely connected to each other. The Hengduan mountain range that was entrenched in between them was a natural barrier. Other than the few empires that were connected to each other, the armies of the other empires could only choose to pass through the Hengduan mountain range to enter their territory. As a result, they had to deal with much fewer opponents. Other than the Hengduan mountain range, the other demonic beast resting place was the Dragon Palace of the 4 Seas. The Heavenly Dance continent was surrounded by an endless ocean. That was the territory of the Dragon Palace of the 4 Seas. The humans did not dare to provoke the demonic beasts of the sea race. Even though the humans coveted the islands surrounding the Heavenly Martial continent, they still chose to follow their hearts in the face of the mysterious ocean. Or it could be said that after countless defeats, the demonic beasts of the sea race were not existences that the humans of today could contend against. The above was the current situation of the continent that Lin Yuan understood. Most of it was obtained from the records or documents collected by the three-eyed ape when it was alive. There was also a small portion that came from the oral accounts of the demonic beasts, like men do together with some of Lin Yuan's own guesses. He came to these conclusions. For the 7 empires, the most important territory was actually the cities near the Hengduan mountain range. Only through the trade in these cities could they obtain enough demonic beast flesh and demonic beast cores to make the experts they worshipped stronger and stronger. If they lost the qualifications to enter the Hengduan mountain range, the empires would only become weaker and weaker. In the end, they would be completely swallowed up by the other empires. The previous city lord of Mountain Blocking City was replaced because he made such a fatal mistake. It was unknown what happened to that city lord, whose brain was not as good as the demonic beasts, but Lin Yuan's blind guess was a crime worthy of 9 exterminations. The purple-eyed youth looked for him for the hunting rights. Moreover, he was not satisfied with the demonic beast forest. He wanted to enter the outer regions of the Hengduan mountain range, and even deeper regions. Therefore, as an influential person among the humans, he would condescend to look for Lin Yuan, the new beast king. Firstly, Lin Yuan was the beast king of the Stoneclaw Forest. It just so happened that he controlled the entrance of Mountain Blocking City into the Hengduan mountain range. Secondly, Lin Yuan was equivalent to a loose cultivator. He did not have a huge clan or force behind him. It did not matter if he fell out with him. Lin Yuan had heard of a saying in his previous life. The general had 1,000,000 souls on his shoulders, but he was no match for a ghost hidden in the human heart. In his previous life, Lin Yuan had seen too many sinister people. Therefore, he was very wary of this kind of cooperation that had an 80% chance of falling out with him. He agreed to it only because of the consideration of benefits. He was not a kind and honest person. He would not take the initiative to scheme against the other party. However, there was no need for him to swallow his broken teeth and satisfy the other party's benefits when he did not get any benefits. Lin Yuan took a deep breath and expelled the last trace of laziness from his mind. His heterochromatic eyes flashed with a bright light. After 3 days, the mess was almost cleaned up. He had also rested enough. He would return to the Scarlet Flame Swamp to see if there were any low-level demonic beasts that were easy to deal with. At the same time, he would take a look at the territory that was supposed to be his, and see how many areas were left for the demonic beasts to reproduce. Chapter 125. After falling from the waterfall, Lin Yuan quickly left his lair. When his gaze fell on a stone house built by the lakeside, Lin Yuan let out a slight sigh. Mendu had once said that Batu was the child of the three-eyed ape, and that he had the potential to become the next three-eyed ape. Now, when the news of the three-eyed ape's death reached Batu, it had already been a long time. This former genius and young clan leader of the Gravel clan hadn't even been able to send his father off. After hearing Lin Yuan's description, Batu's eyes only reddened, but he didn't act up at that time. However, when Lin Yuan returned to his lair for 3 days, Batu had already locked himself in his stone house for 3 days. He wasn't worried that Batu would starve himself to death, but Lin Yuan had also experienced similar emotions. He wanted to persuade him, but until today, Lin Yuan still couldn't forget that unforgettable memory. He was a person in the situation, so how could he have the qualifications to persuade another person? Hopefully, Batu would be able to figure it out soon. Lin Yuan silently came to the shore, and the lake water on his black scales automatically slid down. Lin Yuan flung his snake body and swept towards the Stoneclaw forest. Beast King. My king. Along the way, almost all the monsters lowered their heads and saluted Lin Yuan, not daring to look directly at Lin Yuan. Among the monsters that saluted, there were even quite a few Wisdom Realm monsters. Before the incident with the Crimson Flame Crocodile King, they could ignore Lin Yuan. After all, at that time, although Lin Yuan had the battle record of defeating a Wisdom Realm monster, he was still a level 10 monster, an existence 1 level lower than them. But now, Lin Yuan had already entered the Wisdom state, and even eliminated the Flaming Red Crocodile King. No matter how bold they were, they had to obediently lower their heads when they saw Lin Yuan, the King of Beasts. Otherwise, they might become one of the offerings to Lin Yuan someday. Lin Yuan didn't pay attention to them. He quickly skimmed through the woods, and soon arrived at the periphery of the Gravel clan. Unlike the last time he came here, the patrolling mountain-shaking apes lowered their heads and saluted Lin Yuan when they saw him. They didn't dare to block Lin Yuan's way anymore. Therefore, Lin Yuan didn't wait for the sentries in the periphery to inform Mendu as usual. Instead, he directly entered the core area of the Gravel clan. Black Snake. Beast King. Lin Yuan had just advanced less than 100 meters when he heard 2 greetings. Mendo was standing beside a monster that looked like a lizard. He was slightly behind it. When his gaze fell on Lin Yuan, a glint flashed across his eyes. Who is this? Lin Yuan glanced at the lizard monster. He slightly narrowed his eyes and asked doubtfully. He could feel that the monster's realm wasn't high. At most, it was around the 2nd or 3rd level of the Wisdom state. However, it had an indescribable aura. It was like a king overseeing an army of thousands. Every movement had the aura of a superior. Even Lin Yuan was secretly afraid. This is... Mendu opened his mouth and wanted to introduce the lizard monster to Lin Yuan. The lizard monster just waved his hand and said casually, I am called Blood Claw. I come from the Green Swamp clan. Our clan leader is the Beast King of the Green Swamp. He is also the right general of the Hungduan mountain range. My king sent me to the Stoneclaw forest to help you clean up the Inferno demon beasts that might have been born prematurely. Therefore, before confirming that the threat has been eliminated, I will listen to your orders. The Rockskin Green Swamp was a lizard monster of the desolate demon realm. Its territory was at least 600,000 li away from the Stoneclaw forest. It occupied a large area. Lin Yuan's current territory was equal to the Stoneclaw Forest and a small half of the Scarlet Flame Swamp. However, the total area could only be described as a corner of the Green Swamp. So you are a fierce general under the Rock-Skin Beast King. It's an honor to meet you. Lin Yuan chuckled and exchanged pleasantries. However, he was secretly puzzled. After all, the Green Swamp clan was a large clan that was not inferior to the mountain-shaking ape clan. They had 3 desolate demon realm beast kings. In the Hungduan mountain range, they could be considered a powerful force. It was reasonable for them to participate in cleaning up the remaining threats left behind by the Inferno Crows. However, the Stoneclaw Forest and the Scarlet Flame Swamp were under the rule of another desolate demon. Even if there was a high-level beast sent to clean up the Scarlet Flame Swamp, the Inferno Demon Beast would be under another Beast King, and not an official member of the Green Swamp clan. He thought with the greatest malice. Lin Yuan slowly raised his head and looked at Bloodclaw with a meaningful gaze. The Scarlet Flame Crocodile King's father in the desolate demon realm couldn't be real, right? But a lizard giving birth to a crocodile. Lin Yuan felt that if it was really as he guessed, then the ecology of the demon beasts in this world might have already beaten the biologists of his previous life to the ground. Then I will have to trouble the Black Snake Beast King to take care of me during this period. The sooner I finish cleaning up the hidden dangers in the Scarlet Flame Swamp, the sooner I can return to report on my mission. Bloodclaw's face was still smiling, and there was not the slightest bit of malice toward Lin Yuan. Lin Yuan slightly nodded and gave Mendo a meaningful glance. He said indifferently, "The Rockhide Beast King's valiant subordinates have arrived, so we will definitely treat them with the highest standards. Mendo, have someone lead Senior Bloodclaw to his residence. If there is anything he is dissatisfied with, you must solve it immediately." "Yes." Mendo slightly bowed and responded. Then he reached out his hand to call over a mountain-shaking ape. After a few words, he had it lead Bloodclaw to his residence. Bloodclaw opened its mouth, as if wanting to say something. However, under the smiling faces of Lin Yuan and Mendo, it still obediently followed the mountain-shaking ape to the stone house area. "Black Snake, something is wrong." Although he did not show it, I have a feeling that Bloodclaw did not come with good intentions. Mendo glanced at the gradually disappearing Bloodclaw and secretly communicated with Lin Yuan with his mind. Lin Yuan took a deep breath and slightly swayed his snake tail. He replied with his mind, "Forget it, I was originally going to take a look at the situation in the Scarlet Flame Swamp. The higher-ups sent a demonic beast to help, so we still have to give them face. Let's observe this guy for a few days and see what he wants. Oh right, find a way to investigate the Scarlet Flame Crocodile King's rumored father in the desolate demon realm. Find out where the Scarlet Flame Crocodile King came from." "You mean?" A cold light flashed in Mendo's eyes as he asked tentatively. "I'm not sure yet, but there is no harm in being careful. Go." Lin Yuan's good mood was diluted by the arrival of the Black Snake Beast King. His voice also became languid. These few days it had been 4 o'clock. Chapter 126. Half an hour later. At the edge of the Scarlet Flame Swamp, Lin Yuan crouched down slightly. Under the influence of the lawful embodiment of heaven and earth, his 200-meter-long snake body had shrunk to 30 centimeters. He looked like a harmless little black snake. However, even though his body had shrunk, Lin Yuan's aura had not been concealed. Therefore, even though he had been hiding at the edge of the Scarlet Flame Swamp for half an hour, no demonic beast had dared to provoke his majesty. Because the Scarlet Flame Swamp was not originally his territory, Lin Yuan did not know the exact number of demonic beasts living here. In addition, even though he had killed the Scarlet Flame Crocodile King, he had not arranged for his subordinates to take over the Scarlet Flame Swamp. He had also not announced to the natives of the Scarlet Flame Swamp that it had become his territory. Therefore, the system did not include the Scarlet Flame Swamp in Lin Yuan's territory model. Therefore, Lin Yuan did not understand the situation in the Scarlet Flame Swamp. Due to the existence of the Purgatory Flames, almost all the demonic beasts that had survived the Scarlet Flame Swamp had moved to the edge of the Stoneclaw Forest. Because of the conflict between the Scarlet Flame Crocodile King and Lin Yuan, this territory had always been in a state of constant conflict. Demonic beasts that were slightly stronger would not choose to establish their nests here. However, the Purgatory Flames had directly buried the powerful demonic beasts that had settled in the center of the Scarlet Flame Swamp. On the contrary, the demonic beasts that had been pushed to the edge of the swamp had luckily survived. Lin Yuan glanced at the demonic beasts that had gathered at the edge of the swamp with some disdain. His heterochromatic eyes clearly revealed a trace of disdain. They had no way of passing through the Purgatory Flames to other areas, and they did not dare to provoke Lin Yuan into entering the Stoneclaw Forest. They were even more unwilling to enter the forest where they could encounter the human demon slayer at any time. With such a mentality, these demonic beasts had no intention of changing their minds. Aside from being dangerous, the Scarlet Flame Swamp had almost no value to speak of. Almost all of the spirit items it produced had been devoured by the Purgatory Flames, and there weren't many powerful demonic beasts left. Even the habitable territory was extremely scarce. Now that he had taken over the Scarlet Flame Swamp, not only would it not be of any help to him, it would instead drag down his pace of development. Moreover, he would have to transfer a portion of the powerful demonic beasts that were already few in number to guard the Scarlet Flame Swamp. If Bloodclaw hadn't appeared, Lin Yuan would have simply treated it as if nothing had happened. However, Bloodclaw from the Green Marsh clan obviously wouldn't allow Lin Yuan to do so. After all, although the Stoneclaw Forest was very close to the Scarlet Flame Swamp, the Purgatory Crows didn't affect this area in the slightest. The experts of the Hungduan Mountains wouldn't arrange for him to clean up the hidden dangers of the Scarlet Flame Swamp. Therefore, one thing could be concluded. The news of the Flaming Red Crocodile King's death had spread throughout the Hungduan Mountains. And as someone who had killed the Crimson Blaze Crocodile King, he had no choice but to accept the mess that was the Scarlet Flame Swamp. However, the problem was, how did those experts of the Hungduan Mountains know about this? Apart from him, only Mendu, the Black Ice Duck, and the Scarlet Eye Duck knew that the Crimson Blaze Crocodile King had died in his hands. Apart from Mendu, the Black Ice Duck had been devoured by Lin Yuan, and the Scarlet Eye Duck had also degenerated into a purgatory crow that brought endless disasters under the stimulation of her sister's death. It couldn't be that Mendu had betrayed him, right? Thinking of how Mendu's loyalty was inexplicably maxed out in the faction relationship list, Lin Yuan rejected this idea. According to the system's explanation, after maxed out loyalty, as long as it didn't go against the other party's will, they wouldn't hesitate even if he asked them to die. Therefore, Mendu definitely wouldn't betray him, let alone provoke a powerful clan like the Green Marsh clan to target him. It's difficult. Lin Yuan sighed slightly. The forces under his command were too weak. Except for the Gravel clan, who might be of one mind with him, the other three clans would burn incense if they did not make a false accusation in the face of a strong enemy like the Green Marsh clan, let alone expect them to send their own combat power to fight for Lin Yuan. It was also because of this that Lin Yuan didn't make any moves, even though he knew that the Bloodclaw didn't come with good intentions. He only arranged for Mendu to secretly investigate the relationship between the Flaming Red Crocodile King and the Green Marsh clan. Ding. Detected that the host needs subordinates. The host is advised to check the additional function of the territory model. Army creation. The system's broadcast sounded in his mind. It was as cold as an emotionless killer. Army creation? Lin Yuan was slightly startled. Immediately, his eyes revealed a look of ecstasy. There's such a good thing? In Lin Yuan's previous world, even a 10-year-old child would have played mini RTS games. One of the most important systems was army creation. If he had the same function, not to mention a mere Green Marsh clan, as long as he continued to develop, he would be able to directly punch the various clans in the Hungduan mountain range and kick the 7 great empires of the Sky Martial continent. Lin Yuan quickly opened the territory model that he hadn't studied in detail. Very quickly, under the guidance of the system, he found the so-called army creation system. Glancing at the requirements of the system, the joy in Lin Yuan's eyes instantly disappeared without a trace. I'm so stupid, really. Why do I feel that this damn system has a conscience? Army creation system. The host can consume the materials in the resource warehouse to create loyal subordinates. The creatures created will not be able to do anything to harm the host. They will also subconsciously obey the host's orders. Note 1. Although the creatures created will not be able to harm the host, they can betray the host. If the host is unable to subdue the creatures or disappoint them, they may betray the host at any time. Note 2. When the host creates a creature, the host needs to consume a portion of the materials from a demonic beast. For example, if the host consumes a bear's paw, it is possible to create a bear-type creature to serve the host. However, it is also possible to create a creature that is completely unrelated to the bear type. Note 3. There is no upper limit to the strength of the creatures created. However, the creatures themselves are unable to cultivate. There is also no way to increase their strength by consuming flesh or spirit items. The only way for them to increase their strength is for the host to take the initiative to invest attribute points. Note 4. The host can freely invest attribute points into the creatures created. If the host is willing, the host can give a creature a countless amount of defense, turning it into the host's strongest meat shield. Just by looking at the introduction, Lin Yuan immediately realized that this thing seemed to be a bottomless pit. The proficiency system was also the same. Although the proficiency system allowed Lin Yuan's strength to increase rapidly, it also limited the speed of Lin Yuan's advancement. Chapter 127. However, compared to the soldier creation system, the proficiency model could be said to have a conscience. After all, when facing opponents of the same level, Lin Yuan could use skills to increase his proficiency. When facing opponents of a higher level, the skill would also have a certain amplification effect according to the difference in strength between the two sides. However, this soldier creation system required Lin Yuan to invest attribute points in it. It was as terrifying as a bottomless pit. For example, if Lin Yuan wanted to create a level 1 intelligent demonic beast, he would have to invest 100 attribute points in the creature he created. Moreover, he was not sure what kind of creature he would create. What kind of talent he would obtain would depend on whether the system would help him when he created the creature. Taking a step back, even if Lin Yuan had enough attribute points and the creature he created was strong enough, he still had to consider the psychology of the creature he created. If he invested everything in the creature he created and it betrayed him, then he would be in big trouble. Lin Yuan expressionlessly skimmed through the introduction of the soldier creation system again. He sighed lightly and silently began to operate in the model. First, he threw in the arms of the strange ape as materials. After pondering for a moment, Lin Yuan threw in the 3 attribute points he obtained from killing the strange ape and confirmed the submission. 3 attribute points was at most a level 1 demonic beast. In this area where level 7 demonic beasts were at the bottom of the food chain, they would probably be trampled to death just by walking. Therefore, Lin Yuan did not expect to summon any battle power. He just wanted to test the waters and see what this soldier creation system could produce. After Lin Yuan confirmed the submission of the materials, a small ball of light condensed beside him. A faint white light flashed and a milky white egg appeared beside Lin Yuan. Lin Yuan choked for a moment. He knew that the system was a dog, but he really did not expect the system to be such a dog. So the soldier creation system did not directly materialize the creature it created, but gave him an egg and let him hatch it himself? Name: egg of an unknown creature type. Item grade: E. Description: this is an egg of an unknown creature. We can first use the elimination method. First, it is not an egg. Remaining incubation time: 3 minutes. After taking a closer look at the egg on the ground, Lin Yuan was once again speechless. A creature with only 3 points in all attributes needed 3 minutes to incubate. If he wanted to create a summoned creature with similar attributes to himself, would he have to spend nearly 2 hours to incubate it? Thinking about the huge amount of attribute points that would follow, Lin Yuan could only take a deep breath and let out a long sigh. Currently, Lin Yuan was an intelligence level 1 demonic beast, and all his attributes had reached 100 points. He wasn't sure how many points he would need to upgrade to intelligence level 2 demonic beast, but he guessed that it would at least be a 2-digit increase. By the time he created a powerful army, Lin Yuan felt that it would be too late. Ding. Warm reminder, if the host is not willing to wait for the normal incubation time, you can also pay the price of attribute points to speed up the incubation process of the created creature. The system, which could sense Lin Yuan's intentions, made another announcement. Lin Yuan rolled his eyes. He felt that the system announcement this time was a little familiar. The mobile games he played in his previous life all seemed to use this method to stimulate players to spend money. Either spend time or spend money. Lin Yuan's heart didn't waver. He looked at the remaining 15 attribute points on the interface, and decisively chose to silently wait for the incubation to complete. As the Stoneclaw Forest Beast King, even if Lin Yuan enjoyed the worship of the various demonic beast clans under his rule, with his current strength, unless it was a treasure of the demonic beast clans, it would be very difficult for them to provide him with attribute points or demonic power. Most of the phase he ate would be wasted, and it would be faster to absorb the spirit energy in the nest. The attribute points he had now were all contributed by the mysterious ice duck and the strange ape. Even cultivating and eating phase in the past 3 days wasn't as practical as killing an intelligence-level demonic beast. Very quickly, 3 minutes passed. The egg next to Lin Yuan started to shake slightly. Black cracks quickly covered the eggshell. Immediately after, a pair of red pincers broke the eggshell and appeared in front of Lin Yuan. Lin Yuan choked again. The materials he submitted were clearly a pair of ape arms. Why did the creature created by the system give him a pair of red pincers like a lobster? With the appearance of the red pincers, the creature's full appearance quickly appeared in front of Lin Yuan. It was indeed an ape, at least from its appearance. Except for the red hair all over its body, it looked almost exactly the same as the mountain-shaking ape. However, its hands were a pair of red pincers, unlike the hands of the mountain-shaking ape, which were similar to human hands. Ding. Congratulations to the host for creating the first creature that belongs to you. When the system announcement sounded, it also gave a message of trust. Name, none status. Demonic fire prawn ape can be added realm, 1/10 talent. 1. Summon pseudo-purgatory fire. 2. Infinite strength, attack increase by 10% attack, 1 + 0. 1 defense, 1 speed, 1 assignable points, 0 martial arts, none abilities, none note. Although this creature has the same attribute panel as the host, it doesn't have the ability to kill other creatures or devour phase to obtain attribute points. This creature's assignable points must be provided by the host. The host can add points to this creature according to his own wishes, and the host can also add attribute points to the assignable points for free use. In addition, after this creature kills an opponent, the host will obtain 1/10 of the attribute points as a reward. Invalid if the target's level is lower than the host. Hiss. Lin Yuan sucked in a breath of cold air. Batu and Mendo were considered his own subordinates, and their loyalty was 100%. However, the two of them had no relationship with the system, so Lin Yuan couldn't see their information panel. However, this demonic fire prawn ape actually had the same attribute panel as Lin Yuan. Moreover, Lin Yuan compared his initial panel with the demonic fire prawn apes. Lin Yuan's gaze immediately became somewhat bitter. This fellow seemed to be born as a main character. He had only awakened the water manipulation talent when he was at rank 5, but this demonic fire prawn ape had the ability to summon purgatory fire when it was born, and it didn't even have the chance to increase its realm. In addition, it had the infinite strength attribute, making Lin Yuan extremely envious. That black snake, the Scarlet Flame Swamp, isn't a place you should come to. Hurry up and scram. A hot-tempered multicolored tiger lowered its body with a roar, ready to attack at any time. Lin Yuan narrowed his eyes slightly. His gaze paused on the tiger for a moment, and he sighed again in his heart. The flaming crocodile king didn't know how to govern its territory. It only knew how to expand and fight. It took advantage of the changes in the surrounding forces to constantly absorb the Beast King's territories. Its territory seemed to be getting bigger and bigger, But the Flaming Crocodile King's internal management was extremely lax. In the Scarlet Flame Swamp, a level 10 demon beast actually had the guts to provoke a wisdom state demon beast? You don't even have the concept of superior and inferior. Do you think you're also a cheat? Seeing Lin Yuan's gaze stop on its body, the multicolored tiger felt an inexplicable chill down its spine. It knew that there was a black snake in the Stoneclaw forest next door. It was able to kill a wisdom state demon beast as a level 10 demonic beast. Although it was a little hot-tempered, it still had some self-awareness. Therefore, it quickly reacted. If this black snake wanted to kill it, a breath's time would be enough. Heh, I thought you had some guts. It's just a glare, and you're scared out of your wits? Hey, that black snake, come, look at me. A wild boar-like demonic beast leaned against a tree and looked at Lin Yuan with a mocking gaze. It sneered and said, "If you know what's good for you, leave that brat behind you. Today, Grandpa Pig is in a good mood, so I can let you go." Why? Before the wild boar could finish its sentence, it had already turned into an exquisite ice sculpture. Even its expression was perfectly carved. However, there was no sign of life in the ice sculpture. Clearly, this ice sculpture wasn't a control technique. So much nonsense. Is there anyone else who wants to die? Lin Yuan's multicolored eyes looked around. The surrounding demonic beasts all retreated a few steps, not daring to look at Lin Yuan. Further away, there were more than a dozen wisdom state demonic beasts that were watching the show. They didn't seem to have any intention of standing on the other side. It was as if they wanted to see how this matter would develop. They were different from the demonic beasts that had surrounded Lin Yuan. As the main force under the Red Flame Crocodile King, they had all participated in the Red Flame Crocodile King's final battle. Previously, they hadn't noticed Lin Yuan lying there in the form of a small snake. However, when Lin Yuan revealed his true form, they recognized what kind of existence this black snake was. The reason they hadn't immediately come to help was because they wanted to wait until Lin Yuan couldn't hold on any longer before chasing away the Spirit Awakening Realm demonic beasts. At the same time, they wanted to do some good to Lin Yuan, and see if they could use this opportunity to leave the Scarlet Flame Swamp and join the increasingly prosperous Stoneclaw Forest. As they watched the show, they found that the situation was slowly turning around. The demonic beasts that had surrounded the black snake began to slowly retreat, as if they didn't dare to become enemies with the black snake. The dozen wisdom state demonic beasts looked at each other with dumbfounded expressions. They had even begun to think about how to deal with the beast tide. After all, no matter how strong a wisdom state demonic beast was, it couldn't sweep through thousands of Spirit Awakening Realm demonic beasts by itself. So if the two sides really fought, the one to suffer in the end would be the black snake. However, the black snake didn't seem to have considered the possibility of suddenly killing a demonic beast and causing the other demonic beasts to riot. However, this move had unexpectedly suppressed the situation. Lin Yuan used his tail to wrap up the demon fire prawn ape and placed it on his back. His multicolored eyes looked around and the demonic beasts all opened up a path. They no longer dared to block Lin Yuan's path. They were also clear that if they attacked together, no matter how strong a Wisdom Realm demon beast was, it would be exhausted to death by them. However, the price of this exhaustion would be their lives. From the moment the wild boar was frozen to death, their hearts were in chaos. After all, no one wanted to be the one to be frozen to death. Using their own lives to help others obtain the fruits of victory? How was that possible? Lin Yuan slowly twisted his snake body among the demonic beasts. Although the surrounding demonic beasts were still greedily staring at the demon fire prawn ape on Lin Yuan's back, they no longer had the courage to attack. Wait! A call suddenly came from behind Lin Yuan. Chapter 129. Lin Yuan paused and slowly turned around to look behind him. Around 13 intelligence realm demonic beasts were neatly lined up and walking toward him. Lin Yuan truly didn't think that these intelligence realm demonic beasts would suddenly call out to him. This was because when the situation was good, these demonic beasts didn't attack, so Lin Yuan directly ignored them. Right now, he seemed to be able to control the situation, But the attitude of these intelligence realm demonic beasts was very important. Once they made a move because of the demon fire ape, the spirit awakening realm demonic beasts would also attack, and might even eat the demon fire ape. If it was just an ordinary creature he created, then it would be fine. Lin Yuan naturally wouldn't risk offending so many demonic beasts at the same time. At most, he would lose a bit of face, and he would naturally find a way to make up for it later. After all, the ecosystem of the Scarlet Flame Swamp was already in chaos. If these demonic beasts wanted to survive, they would have to move to the territories of other beast kings. Right now they only had two choices. One was to enter a demonic beast forest that was inferior to the Scarlet Flame Swamp, and the other was to ask Lin Yuan to allow them to enter the Stoneclaw Forest. At that time, Lin Yuan would have plenty of ways to deal with them. However, the demon fire ape's ability to control the purgatory flames was extremely important to Lin Yuan's plan. Not only could he manage this swamp that had been destroyed by the purgatory flames, according to this creature's own consciousness, Lin Yuan knew that it could sense the state of the purgatory flames at any time. When, where, and what kind of purgatory demonic beasts would be born. As long as it was nearby, it would be able to sense it. This ability was undoubtedly a timely help to Lin Yuan. Whether it was the purgatory core or the bonus attribute points, they were both things that Lin Yuan greatly desired right now. More importantly, he didn't have any more materials to create a demonic beast with the purgatory flames. If he wanted to create a demonic beast that could replace him and rule over the Scarlet Flame Swamp, Lin Yuan felt that it would be safer to create a demonic beast with the purgatory attribute. Otherwise, it would be hard to say when his own backyard would catch fire. However, although these intelligence realm demonic beasts called out to Lin Yuan, they didn't look at the demon fire ape. Instead, they stared at Lin Yuan with burning eyes, but there was no hostility. This detail made Lin Yuan instinctively feel that something was wrong. Logically speaking, treasures that spirit awakening realm demonic beasts would fight for were just trash for intelligence realm demonic beasts. It was just like how Lin Yuan had almost been killed by the system's missions. After going through untold hardships to obtain the cold stone grass, he was prepared to save some attribute points to become a rank 10 demonic beast. However, by chance, Lin Yuan still managed to use the attribute points to become a rank 10 demonic beast. He didn't even need to use the cold stone grass, so it would be a waste to use it now. Thus, the cold stone grass was still collecting dust in Lin Yuan's nest. He hadn't decided on who to give it to yet. The demon fire ape's bloodline was attractive to spirit awakening realm demonic beasts, but it might not be so for intelligence realm demonic beasts. For them to reach this realm, they already had the bloodline in their bodies. If they recklessly devoured the bloodline, it might cause a conflict between their bloodlines. If things went wrong, they might explode and die. At the very least, they would have to pay a heavy price to resolve the conflict between their bloodlines. Was he going to take such an unnecessary risk? If it was a group of spirit awakening realm demonic beasts, Lin Yuan could decisively kill them and intimidate those fellows that didn't dare to risk their lives for their future. But a dozen intelligence realm demonic beasts? Lin Yuan pondered for a moment and felt that it was safer to give up on the demon fire ape. Is something the matter? Lin Yuan raised his eyebrows and asked with a strong aura. Although it was a pity to give up on the demon fire ape, but it was better than losing his life here. However, demonic beasts were greedy by nature. If Lin Yuan directly expressed that he was willing to give up on the demon fire ape, these demonic beasts might not let Lin Yuan go. Instead, they would focus on getting more benefits from him. A strong attitude was necessary. We want to join Sir Black Snake and pledge our loyalty to Sir Black Snake. The 13 intelligence realm demonic beasts looked at each other. In the end, it was the old-looking Lin Xiang that explained why they stopped Lin Yuan. Lin Yuan was startled. Originally, he had thought that these intelligence realm demonic beasts were just waiting to die. He didn't expect that when these spirit awakening realm demonic beasts attacked, these intelligence realm demonic beasts had already seen through his identity. Lin Yuan even thought that these fellows had gathered to watch the show so that they could make a move when he couldn't hold on anymore. Then they would do him a favor so that he wouldn't be able to reject them. Accept you? On what basis? On the basis that you have no home to return to? Lin Yuan narrowed his eyes and asked in a mocking tone. Since these intelligence realm demonic beasts knew his identity, then he could act more arrogant. In any case, he wasn't afraid of these demonic beasts teaming up to threaten him. If he died, then no matter who the new beast king of the Stoneclaw Forest was, they would immediately take revenge for him. Otherwise, wouldn't the demonic beasts from other regions think that they could casually provoke the beast king of the Stoneclaw Forest? Weakness was a capital offense in the cruel forest. Not to mention, the new beast king of the Stoneclaw Forest was most likely one of his loyal subordinates. Since these intelligence realm demonic beasts weren't stupid, then they definitely wouldn't fall out with him. So if he didn't take advantage of them now, what was he waiting for? The 13 intelligence realm demonic beasts didn't think that Lin Yuan would react like this. The words they had prepared froze in their mouths, and they looked at each other. They clearly didn't know what Lin Yuan was thinking. However, just like how Lin Yuan thought, they didn't dare to fall out with him at this time. You are all intelligence realm demonic beasts. Even in the outer regions of the Hengduan mountain range, you are all qualified to compete for the position of Beast King. You should know what the responsibility of a Beast King is. You opened your mouths and wanted me to take you back to the Stoneclaw Forest to settle down. Have you ever thought that because of you, the Stoneclaw Forest's ecological chain might be broken? Everyone, it's not that this king doesn't want to give you face, but this king has no other choice. Once the ecological chain is messed up, even the Stoneclaw Forest might be destroyed. This king really can't bear this responsibility. Lin Yuan's heterochromatic eyes looked around and his tone was slightly cold. However, they all saw that Lin Yuan's heterochromatic eyes were slightly flickering. It was obvious that he wasn't speaking the truth. Or rather, this was Lin Yuan's direct message to them. They didn't manage to get a favor, so they opened their mouths and wanted to join the Stoneclaw Forest? Dream on. Chapter 130. However, Lin Yuan's words were on point, and they didn't have any room to refute him. This was because with their intelligence realm cultivation, they did have hope of competing for the position of Beast King. When Lin Yuan was still a rank 10 monster, he had always thought that Mendu and the others were at the peak of the intelligence realm. Now Lin Yuan knew that Mendu was at most at the second level of the intelligence realm. Ping Qiu and Chen Yan were at the peak of the first level of the intelligence realm. Among the three Beast Kings, only Blizzard had touched the threshold of the second level of the intelligence realm. This was why it was so confident that it would be the successor of the three-eyed ape. The 13 demonic beasts in front of him were all at the first level of the wisdom state. In terms of talent, they could not be compared with Lin Yuan, who had the system. Therefore, most of them had reached their limit at this level. It was obviously impossible for them to sit firmly in the position of the Beast King. This was also the reason why they were below the Red Flame Crocodile King. However, not competing didn't mean they didn't understand. It was true that the Beast Kings had to maintain the balance of the ecological chain in their own territory. However, they would often leave some leeway for them to take in powerful monsters from other territories at any time. Only the Beast Kings without ambition would maintain an absolute balance in their own territory. In exchange for never expanding their territory, they would let the Monster King court in the depths of the Hengduan Mountains protect their existence. However, Lin Yuan's Stoneclaw Forest was clearly not like this. In fact, in the outer regions of the Hengduan mountain range, Lin Yuan was an absolute anomaly. He hadn't even stabilized his position as Beast King. He had only roughly sorted out the ecological chain in his territory before directly clashing with the Red Flame Crocodile King. In this situation, let alone the Spirit Awakening realm monsters in the Red Flame Swamp, not knowing that he was the Stoneclaw Forest Beast King, there might not even be many Spirit Awakening realm monsters in his Stoneclaw Forest that recognized him. In addition, after the two bloody battles in the Stoneclaw Forest, the number of monsters in his territory had decreased. As long as Lin Yuan was willing, it wouldn't be a problem for him to accept all of the surviving monsters in the Red Flame Swamp. He could even make the overall strength of his territory stronger than before. However, Lin Yuan had decisively rejected them. He was obviously asking for benefits. Their mentality of wanting to leave the Scarlet Flame Swamp and seek a better place to survive had been blocked. If they didn't pay a huge price today, Lin Yuan would definitely insist that the Stoneclaw Forest couldn't accept them. They couldn't do anything about it, and could only watch as Lin Yuan swaggered away. However, this was also the worrisome part. If Lin Yuan had his own race or descendants, they could simply give some phase to get away with it. As long as there were enough of them, it wouldn't be a problem. After all, even if Lin Yuan didn't need them, he could still give them to his own race. This way, everyone would be able to get along with it. However, the problem was that Lin Yuan was the only snake in his entire race. Therefore, no matter how many low-grade phase they gave Lin Yuan wouldn't take a second look at them. He would even feel that they were insulting him. If he wanted to give a wisdom perception demonic beast a spiritual item, it would be the same as asking for their lives. Wouldn't it be better to have a treasure of that level for his own cultivation? They were originally refugees, so they couldn't possibly run away with their own nest, right? Therefore, it wasn't that they didn't have any phase, but they were all of very good quality. Any one of them could cause a bloodbath. However, they could only obtain the entrance ticket to the Stoneclaw Forest after giving Lin Yuan the phase that they normally couldn't bear to use. Lord Black Snake, we indeed didn't consider this matter properly. However, we hope that Lord Black Snake can understand. We will naturally compensate for the losses that Lord Black Snake's territory might suffer. This is a stalk of dragon saliva grass that I obtained by chance. I think it should be able to compensate for some of Lord Black Snake's losses, right? The aged Lin Xiang chuckled as he took out a stalk of emerald green grass from under the rock that he had hidden something, and placed it in front of Lin Yuan. In his previous life, Lin Yuan had also heard of the dragon saliva grass. However, the dragon saliva grass in his previous life was completely different from the one in this world. The dragon saliva grass in this world would only grow in places with dragon aura. If a demonic beast with dragon bloodline consumed the dragon saliva grass, there would be an extremely high probability of purifying its bloodline. In other words, the probability of evolving from a wild beast to a demonic beast would be greatly increased. Take note that this dragon aura wasn't something extremely mysterious. It was just a concise description. Dragon aura was the aura of a dragon. With Lin Xiang's cultivation and the fact that he didn't have a clan behind him that the Seven Dynasties feared, it was impossible for him to return safely after leaving the Hengduan mountain range. Therefore, the fact that Lin Xiang could take out the dragon saliva grass meant that there were Jiao dragons in the Hengduan mountain range. Other than him, who had a system, there were flood dragons that didn't accept the recruitment of the Dragon Palace of the Four Seas and stayed in the Hengduan mountain range. Lin Yuan was really shocked. After all, the existence from the Dragon Palace that he had seen previously wasn't a flood dragon. At most, it had dragon blood in its body, and lived with some powerful dragon bloodline demonic beasts all year round. Therefore, Lin Yuan had misjudged it. Strictly speaking, it might not even have the pureness of its bloodline when Lin Yuan transformed into a flood dragon. In the Hengduan mountain range, in the Scarlet Flame Swamp, there was actually a dragon bloodline demonic beast that was more powerful than the Dragon Palace's messenger? Then where was it now? Was it dead, or had it gone deeper into the Hengduan mountain range? Or perhaps, it didn't leave and was just silently watching the outside world from somewhere? No. Lin Yuan suddenly put away the doubts in his heart, and his gaze paused on Lin Xiang for a moment. In order to understand this world, he had read a lot of information left by the three-eyed ape. Among them, there were records about the dragon grass. This kind of thing was a spiritual object that was born from the aura of a dragon bloodline demonic beast. It could help the descendant of a dragon bloodline demonic beast to increase the success rate of evolving into a flood dragon. However, it had no benefit to the dragon bloodline demonic beast that could produce the dragon grass. Moreover, it would consume energy. In addition, to produce the dragon grass, one had to be at least in the desolate demon realm. Therefore, it was impossible for a dragon bloodline demonic beast without descendants to produce the dragon grass. In addition, this damn thing would directly wither after 3 days without dragon chi. Looking at the stalk in Lin Xiang's hand, it was definitely picked less than a day ago. Lin Xiang gave this thing to him. Not only was it impossible to get it by chance, it was very likely that a dragon bloodline demonic beast released its goodwill to him. Of course, according to the law of the jungle, it couldn't be ruled out that this dragon bloodline demonic beast wanted to fatten him up before devouring his dragon bloodline. Should he take it or not? Lin Yuan was at a loss for a moment. Chapter 131. After all, he wasn't the descendant of a dragon bloodline demonic beast. The probability of the other party deliberately growing a stalk of dragon saliva grass for his growth wasn't high. Thus, Lin Yuan was more inclined to the latter analysis. However, his current situation wasn't good. Regardless of whether the Scarlet Blaze Crocodile King's desolate demon realm father really existed, the Green Marsh tribe had already targeted him. Now that the Green Swamp clan had their eyes on him, there was no telling when they would make a move against him. If he used the attention of a dragon bloodline demonic beast well, he might be able to intimidate the Green Marsh tribe. After all, an existence that could grow dragon saliva grass was at least in the desolate demon realm. Perhaps he could even make them fight each other? Should Lin Xiang accept this gift or not? This question was like a sharp blade hanging over Lin Yuan's head. Actually, the dragon saliva grass was really useless to him. Purify his bloodline? What a joke. Could the bloodline given by the system be an incomplete mixed bloodline? Furthermore, Lin Yuan felt that with the system's nature, when he could transform into a flood dragon was actually still up to it. There would definitely be a series of missions to transform into a flood dragon. If he failed, Lin Yuan might lose the qualifications to transform into a flood dragon. The system might even take the initiative to remove the bindings and directly deprive him of the opportunity to evolve. To him, this stalk of dragon saliva grass might not even be as beneficial as killing Lin Xiang. Lin Yuan's mind was filled with thoughts as he constantly analyzed the pros and cons of the current situation. However, Lin Yuan's hesitation was a different matter in the eyes of the other Wisdom Realm demonic beasts. The dragon saliva grass that could purify the dragon bloodline might be trash to other demonic beasts, but to a demonic beast like Lin Yuan who had the dragon bloodline, it was undoubtedly a treasure. If their positions were switched, they definitely wouldn't reject the temptation of the dragon saliva grass. Lin Xiang actually used a spiritual item that was useless to him in exchange for the opportunity to enter the Stoneclaw forest. While the other demonic beasts were envious, they were also cursing Lin Xiang in their hearts. This seemingly simple and honest fellow was actually so ruthless. When giving a gift, it definitely depended on what the first person gave. If Lin Xiang gave Lin Yuan a stalk of grass to enter the Stoneclaw forest, then wouldn't it make them seem like they were retarded if they gave him a spiritual item? But then again, that was not the case. Lin Xiang took out a stalk of dragon saliva grass. If Lin Yuan chose to accept it, they would be the ones to suffer in the end. After all, although the dragon saliva grass was useless to demonic beasts other than dragon bloodline demonic beasts, as something that could only be produced by dragon bloodline demonic beasts in the desolate demon realm, its grade would naturally not be low. Since Lin Xiang had shown his sincerity, they had to show their sincerity as well. Therefore, the things they gave out couldn't be worse than the dragon saliva grass. Even if it was worse, it couldn't be much worse. What if he really couldn't take out a treasure of this level? Then, they could only rely on numbers to make up for it. Lord Blacksnake, this is my. Lord Blacksnake, this is soon. The 13 intelligence realm demonic beasts all showed their sincerity to Lin Yuan. Even some of the smarter spirit awakening realm demonic beasts took out their most precious spiritual items to give to Lin Yuan. After all, this was the Beast King of the Stoneclaw Forest. If they could obtain Lin Yuan's approval, they would become a part of the Stoneclaw Forest in the future. Even the 4 great clans would have to give Lin Yuan some face. It wouldn't be good for them to kill their neighbors who had moved over from the Scarlet Flame Swamp. Of course, even if Lin Yuan wasn't willing, they could still use the illegal method to enter the Stoneclaw Forest. However, if they did that, they would become the prey of the entire Stoneclaw Forest. They would even have to sleep with one eye open. Otherwise, they might die without knowing why. You guys are really making things difficult for me. However, since you sincerely want to join our Stoneclaw Forest, This king can't refuse you. How about this? This king will bring you back and arrange a place for you to stay. However, you will have to secretly follow the rules of the Stoneclaw Forest. Do you understand? Lin Yuan's multicolored eyes narrowed slightly. He appeared in front of the group of demonic beasts with a chuckle. How did he look like he was in a difficult position at all? Although they felt that this black snake was a little shameless, when they thought about joining the Stoneclaw Forest and leaving the Scarlet Flame Swamp where the Inferno demon beasts could rush out at any time, they still felt relieved. However, Lin Yuan clearly didn't plan on letting this matter end like this. With a thought, he wriggled his snake body in front of Lin Xiang. He deliberately lowered his voice and said, "When you go back, help me thank that lord. Tell him that I have received his kind intentions." Hearing Lin Yuan's words, Lin Xiang's breathing slightly stagnated. He was stunned for a long time before he reacted. He smiled at Lin Yuan and said, "This subordinate doesn't understand what Lord Blacksnake is talking about." Not to mention Lin Yuan, even the Wisdom State demonic beasts next to him could see that there was something wrong with Lin Xiang. However, Lin Yuan wanted to determine whether there was at least a desolate demon realm dragon blood demonic beast behind Lin Xiang. They all believed that Lin Xiang was actually a prop that Lin Yuan had specially found. Then it's fine. Lin Yuan also smiled. He acted as if nothing had happened and turned to leave. 3 birds with 1 stone. The Green Marsh clan most likely wanted to deal with him. Therefore, the Bloodclaw clan definitely wasn't the only one sent here. His words and actions were probably being monitored. Lin Yuan thanked Lin Xiang for the matter of the dragon saliva grass. Firstly, he wanted to confirm if there really was a dragon bloodline demon beast behind Lin Xiang. Secondly, he wanted to release a signal to the Green Marsh clan that he had the support of the Dragon clan. He wanted them to carefully consider whether they could withstand the wrath of the Dragon clan before making a move. As for the third point, looking at the unfriendly gazes of the 12 Wisdom Realm demonic beasts, Lin Yuan knew that as long as he neglected Lin Xiang for a period of time, this guy would die without knowing why in the Stoneclaw Forest. Regardless of whether that dragon bloodline demon beast had good intentions or bad intentions, Lin Yuan didn't wish for a nail like Lin Yuan to exist in his territory. Therefore, it was beneficial for Lin Yuan to remove it as soon as possible. After a dragon bloodline demon beast that was at least in the desolate demon realm had achieved its goal, would it still care about the life and death of an Wisdom Realm demonic beast? Similarly, Lin Yuan felt that even if that mysterious dragon bloodline demon beast wanted to deal with him, it wouldn't cooperate with the Green Marsh clan. As a noble dragon bloodline demon beast, it would definitely not cooperate with the swamp demonic beasts that were incomparably filthy in its eyes. It would also not allow the Green Marsh clan to touch its prey. As for Lin Yuan himself, he only needed to probe the other party's goal, and then use the system's energy card to keep the other party in suspense. Not only would he obtain a powerful protective umbrella, he might even be able to kill the other party, and obtain a considerable amount of attribute points and spirit items. After all, didn't the legendary dragon clan like to hoard wealth? Chapter 132. Stoneclaw Forest, Broken Stone Clan. Bloodclaw was lying on a smooth white boulder. His thick tail was swinging slowly behind him, and his amber eyes were shining faintly. After a full 10 minutes of silence, Bloodclaw woke up from his thinking state. His cold gaze fell on his subordinate who came to report. He raised his eyelids slightly. "Do you know why the great clan leader wants me to come here personally? Not only because it killed the great clan leader's son, but also because the Purgatory Crow was most likely created by this black snake. If the great clan leader has such power, he will advance further in the imperial court, and our status will rise as well. Understand?" The subordinate was silent for a moment with his head still lowered. Then he slowly said, "Commander, I saw with my own eyes that Lin Xiang gave a fresh stalk of dragon grass to the black snake. Therefore, I feel that this matter is beyond our ability. I suggest that we report the situation here to the great clan leader, and ask him to send the third clan leader over." The one who spoke was a strange lizard with transparent scales all over its body. This was one of the swamp lizard's atavistic mutations. As long as it was willing, the glass scales on its body could change color according to the terrain and light. If it did not want to show itself, nothing could see it. Blood Claw's face was gloomy as he waved his claws. He did not respond to his subordinate's words. Originally, Lin Yuan was just a black snake with an extraordinary performance and seemingly no background. But now, a dragon bloodline demon beast suddenly appeared to support him. Did he really think they were fools? Blood Claw felt that this dragon bloodline demon beast was something that Lin Yuan made up. If Lin Yuan really had a clan of dragon bloodline demon beasts behind him, and an expert from the desolate demon realm, why didn't the imperial court in the Hengduan Mountains receive any news? Dragon bloodline demon beasts usually went to the dragon palace of the Four Seas. The environment and resources there were more suitable for dragon bloodline demon beasts to cultivate. How could a powerful dragon bloodline demon beast stay in the Hengduan Mountains and not leave? However, his subordinate had no reason to help the black snake lie to him. Lin Xiang might have really given the black snake a stalk of dragon saliva that he just picked. This indirectly confirmed the existence of dragon bloodline demon beasts. Lin Xiang knew what the dragon bloodline demon beast was, but the black snake might not know. Perhaps, the dragon bloodline demon beast wanted to absorb the black snake into its own clan? Blood Claw's mind raced, but the more he thought about it, the stranger it felt. The more he thought about it, the more he felt that something was wrong. What about the other thing I asked you to investigate? Blood Claw stopped his increasingly chaotic thoughts and raised his head to look at his subordinate. The glass lizard paused and looked a little embarrassed. This black snake came from the 3601st area of the monster forest, but I don't know the specific situation. It never left anyone alive whether it was fighting for territory or hunting. The only demonic beast that understands it better is probably the mountain-shaking ape Batu. However, I don't want to alert him, so I didn't try to talk to him. Isn't it just a mountain-shaking ape? After the interrogation, just find a more private place to deal with it. Are you afraid? Blood Claw's voice came to an abrupt stop, and the entire stone house fell silent. Being indecisive in such a big matter would mean losing the initiative, and losing the initiative would make it easy for others to plot against them. Therefore, when they did this kind of thing in the past, they had always been unscrupulous. As long as they could achieve their goal, they would do anything. However, this time, they clearly had a clear goal, but they didn't dare to act rashly. This feeling was very sullen. If it was just a normal mountain-shaking ape, they could just kill it after getting the information. But that mountain-shaking ape was called Batu. This was a completely different matter. As one of the leaders of the Green Swamp clan, Blood Claw had some understanding of the division of power in the imperial court. There was an incomparably terrifying existence behind Batu, but it was still in hibernation and hadn't directly stood out. However, if he touched Batu, it would be the same as pushing him and his clan to the opposite side of the Green Swamp clan. At that time, even if the other party was willing to let him go, the Great Patriarch wouldn't leave him with a complete corpse. This matter needs to be discussed at length. You guys find a place to stay and wait for my news. Blood Claw felt a headache coming on. Leader, this subordinate knows that learning the secret of the Black Snake is not only revenge for the Great Patriarch, but it will also allow the Great Patriarch to advance further in the monster imperial court. If this matter is completed in your hands, you can even leave the Green Swamp clan and establish your own clan, and obtain an independent territory. However, I hope that before you do this, you can consider the problem of your own safety. At the same time, you can also think about us old brothers. The glass lizard sighed and said, "We don't have enough strength, so we have to admit it. If we force ourselves to do it, we might not be able to complete the task, and we might even lose our lives. When that time comes, the Great Patriarch..." Bang! Blood Claw punched the polished white stone under him into slag. His eyes were bloodshot as he fiercely stared at the glass lizard and asked, "Are you telling me what to do? I told you to go down and wait for my news, didn't you hear?" The glass lizard looked at Blood Claw meaningfully and sighed helplessly in its heart. It knew that its old superior was now blinded by power. Blood Claw actually knew what it was worried about, but it deliberately ignored it. Just like you could never wake up a person who was pretending to be asleep, You could never make a person who wanted to climb up pay attention to the risks in front of him. After being partners for so many years, the glass lizard could choose to compromise on other matters. It could also gamble with its life to wait for Bloodclaw's extremely risky plan. However, this time was different. Because behind the black snake was at least a desolate monster realm dragon bloodline demon beast. It was afraid that even if the three patriarchs came, they might not be able to withstand the wrath of that dragon bloodline demon beast. If Bloodclaw was allowed to do as he pleased, this group of old brothers would all die in this Stoneclaw forest. If they took another step forward, it would be a situation of 10 deaths. Yes. The glass lizard nodded and stepped out. After the glass lizard left, Bloodclaw slowly raised its head with a contemptuous smile on its face. A cold light flashed in its amber vertical pupils as it said in a cold voice, "There's a dragon bloodline demon beast behind you? I'd like to see if your dragon bloodline demon beast can stay close to you and protect you every day." Yes, Bloodclaw had an immature and bold idea. Directly kidnap the black snake. It didn't believe that the dragon bloodline demon beast would be able to react if it suddenly attacked and took the black snake away. When the black snake reached the territory of the Green Marsh clan, would the dragon bloodline demon beast dare to chase after the snake? Chapter 133. At this time, Bloodclaw completely did not expect that its every move was actually under someone else's control. It also did not expect that the glass lizard's heaven-defying innate ability was completely useless in front of an even more heaven-defying skill. Nachin, who was standing 2,000 meters away from the stone house, sneered. He took small, quick steps and slowly walked toward his own stone house. From time to time, he would glance at the glass lizard that was slowly moving forward from the corner of his eyes. Although the glass lizard could adjust the color of its scales to achieve the effect of invisibility, the speed of its scales changing color was not that ridiculous. Therefore, its movements had to be slower and slower. As long as its movement rhythm was slightly disrupted, its innate ability to change color would fail. Nachin stamped his feet and stood in front of the glass lizard like a door god, but in his mind he was secretly communicating with Lin Yuan, who was not far away. "Beast King, are you sure you want to shed all pretense of cordiality now?" Lin Yuan carefully pondered over the conversation between the glass lizard and Bloodclaw that Nachin had just told him. His heterochromatic eyes flashed with a touch of ridicule. Without hesitation he replied with his mind, "No, not shed all pretense of cordiality. I just want to intensify Bloodclaw's hatred for this king, and clean up some hidden dangers at the same time." Lin Yuan, whose thoughts were far more complicated than these demonic beasts, knew that this glass lizard did not intend to listen to Bloodclaw. It was estimated that after leaving Bloodclaw's place, it would go back to the Green Swamp clan to ask for help. If it really managed to get one of the 3 clan leaders of the Green Swamp clan, that dragon bloodline demonic beast might not be able to protect him. This time Lin Yuan did not want to fight a battle that he had no confidence in, so he made 2 preparations in advance. Sending men due to investigate the relationship between the Red Flame Crocodile King and the Green Swamp clan was the first step. While obtaining some information, it would also allow the Green Swamp clan to focus on dealing with men due once Bloodclaw received the news. It would naturally gradually relax its vigilance. At this time, it would be extremely easy for Lin Yuan to eavesdrop on it. Moreover, in this situation where the black snake's attention was not on me, as long as Bloodclaw confirmed that it was safe, it would inadvertently reveal a lot of secrets. Everything else didn't matter. What Lin Yuan wanted to know the most was what kind of existence Batu was. Previously, Lin Yuan thought that Batu was the descendant of the three-eyed ape and had the qualifications to become a three-eyed ape. But now, it seemed that it wasn't just that. To put it bluntly, the three-eyed ape was nothing more than an ant in the eyes of the Green Swamp clan. The kind that could be casually crushed. As for the descendant of the three-eyed ape, Batu, he was even less worthy of the Green Swamp clan's fear. However, Bloodclaw's expression changed at the mention of Batu. Clearly, it couldn't be faked. As for how Nachin managed to eavesdrop on Bloodclaw's conversation, it was actually very simple. Spider sense. Because Mendu's loyalty to Lin Yuan was maxed out, the Crushed Stone clan under Mendu's command was automatically classified under Lin Yuan by the system. However, as the true master of the clan, Lin Yuan's prestige in the Crushed Stone clan wasn't that great. If it wasn't for the great effort he made during the rebellion of the three major clans, most of the mountain-shaking apes in the Crushed Stone clan wouldn't have recognized him. Naturally, there wasn't much loyalty to speak of. Except for Mendu, who had a maximum value. The other apes of the mountains were simply loyal to Lin Yuan. The number of apes of the mountains that reached the passing line could be counted on one hand. Na Qin, who had a loyalty of 70 points to Lin Yuan, was simply a dazzling existence in Lin Yuan's eyes. Therefore, after Mendu left, Lin Yuan directly handed over the spider sense skill to Na Qin and personally guided Na Qin to learn how to use the spider sense skill. Such a terrifying skill was casually taught to others. Lin Yuan's image in Na Qin's mind once again rose by a large margin. Currently, Na Qin's loyalty to Lin Yuan had reached 80 points, barely reaching the threshold of loyal. With Lin Yuan's approval, Na Qin quickly picked up his stone staff and directly swept it towards the open space where the glass lizard stood in front of him. The glass lizard watched Na Qin's stone staff sweep over, but it could only stare with wide eyes. It simply couldn't react at all. After all, it was terrifyingly slow in its talent state. Boom! Na Qin's stone staff accurately hit the glass lizard, and a terrifying force surged out. The glass lizard, whose cultivation level was lower than Na Qin's, didn't even have a complete corpse left. It was directly blasted into a pile of minced meat. The door of Bloodclaw's stone house was suddenly burst open, and it rushed straight to Na Qin. Looking at the pile of minced meat on the ground, its body trembled with anger and it roared. "What the hell are you doing?" Na Qin put away his stone staff and raised his hand at the surrounding mountain-shaking apes, signaling them to stop. Only then did he touch his head and say to Bloodclaw in an incomparably simple and honest manner, "I'm sorry, Senior Bloodclaw. I just saw a sneaky guy approaching your stone house, so I didn't even think about it and killed it. I didn't expect to disturb Senior Bloodclaw. I'm really sorry." Saw. Bloodclaw's eyes narrowed slightly. The glass lizard was one of its old brothers, and its invisibility talent was heaven-defying. Even Bloodclaw would have a hard time discovering the glass lizard, let alone Na Qin, a demonic beast that had just stepped into level 10. However, Na Qin couldn't just randomly wave his stone staff around its house, right? There seemed to be something wrong with this mountain-shaking ape. Bloodclaw was silent for a moment, and the anger in its eyes slowly subsided. It nodded lightly and said, "So it's an ignorant little thief. I thought it was a purgatory demonic beast that rushed in. Since that's the case, I'll go back and rest. You guys pay attention to your surroundings and don't disturb me." "Yes, Senior Bloodclaw." Na Qin chuckled and lowered his head, replying to Bloodclaw. If it hadn't used its spider sense to detect everything, it really would have thought that this glass lizard had nothing to do with Bloodclaw. His old subordinate had been killed, but Bloodclaw was actually able to endure it so quickly. He was quite impressive. After all, if the same thing happened to him in Mendo, Mendo would probably be looking for someone to avenge him with red eyes. "Leave. Since you've achieved your goal, there's no need to provoke this guy anymore." Lin Yuan's intent once again sounded in Na Qin's mind with a resolute and decisive order. Na Qin chuckled and waved away the surrounding mountain-shaking apes. He himself carried the blood-stained stone staff on his shoulder and slowly walked towards his stone house. According to the hint from the spider sense, Bloodclaw's pair of incomparably calm eyes were now filled with hatred. Chapter 134. The next day, early morning. Lin Yuan had just finished a night of cultivation when he sensed two powerful mystical beasts slowly appearing around his lair. He couldn't help but turn around and quickly scurried onto the huge rock that was above the waterfall. Two huge pythons coiled up beside the lake and looked at the vigilant Batu. However, the two Wisdom Realm pythons looked at Batu, who was only at rank 7, with disdain in their eyes. It was as if they didn't put Batu in their eyes at all. Seeing Lin Yuan appear, the red-scaled python on the left swallowed its tongue and said, Black Snake, we were sent by that lord to assist you. According to that lord's information, the Green Swamp Clan seems to regard you as a thorn in their flesh. They will make a move on you sooner or later. The other python looked the same as Lin Yuan, a black python. However, there were white crescent moon marks on its body. Seeing the red python speak, it narrowed its eyes and said, "It is Xianyang, and I am Wan Yu. We each have our own specialties. Xianyang can control fire, and I specialize in close combat." Although Wan Yu was introducing itself, Lin Yuan could still see the disdain in its narrowed eyes. Lin Yuan shook his neck and pondered for a moment before suddenly laughing. That dragon bloodline mystical beast hiding in the dark seemed to be an interesting fellow. Lin Yuan had only used the dragon's saliva grass it gave him to pull some tiger skin, and hinted that he already knew of its existence. It directly played 2 cards to tell Lin Yuan that it didn't mind Lin Yuan's little actions, and even expressed its support for Lin Yuan. Look at how the desolate demon realm father of the Green Swamp Clan treated the Red Flame Crocodile King. Other than sending it to its mother's territory, it didn't seem to have given any other support. And this dragon bloodline mystical beast that had nothing to do with Lin Yuan tolerated Lin Yuan in every possible way. It even sent 2 Wisdom Realm level 5 dragon bloodline pythons to serve Lin Yuan. With such behavior, Lin Yuan felt that there would be mystical beasts that would believe him if he said that he was the illegitimate son of the dragon bloodline mystical beast. However, as the saying goes, there must be a demon behind the abnormal. The other party didn't even blink an eye and began to support Lin Yuan, which instead aroused Lin Yuan's vigilance. After all, the experience of his previous life told him that there was no free lunch in this world. Even if a pie fell from the sky, you had to consider whether it was poisonous or not. "The 2 of you mean?" Lin Yuan asked with a smile, his pair of heterochromatic eyes curving into a smile. "My lord's meaning is, as long as you are unhappy, Bloodclaw and its subordinate mystical beasts can be directly slaughtered. If it is not convenient for you to do it personally, then let us do it." Later, if the Green Marsh clan sends people to question you, my lord will naturally help you settle it. Xianyang shook his snake head and said in a casual tone. From its words, it didn't seem to have any intention of placing the Green Marsh clan in its eyes. It seemed that as long as the lord behind it was willing, it could flatten the entire Green Marsh clan at any time. Then I am even more curious. I am not related to the lord behind you, so why is it helping me? Lin Yuan narrowed his heterochromatic eyes and asked. Xianyang was slightly startled, obviously not expecting Lin Yuan to be so straightforward. However, it quickly smiled. After all, this black snake was a mystical beast that had never seen the world, so it was normal for its brain to be a little simple. Beside him, Wan Yu didn't think so much but replied in a low muffled voice. That is really a coincidence. I also want to know the answer to this question. You are not related to our lord, so why is he helping you? The different reactions of the 2 pythons were seen by Lin Yuan. Lin Yuan flicked the snake's forked tongue, then slowly said, So the 2 of you also don't know. It seems that after I finish the matter at hand, I will have to personally pay a visit to that lord, and see if I can get some answers. Humph. Wan Yu snorted and said coldly, It is good that you can think this way. Xianyang still had a thoughtful look on his face. He didn't say anything. Lin Yuan looked at Wan Yu meaningfully, already having a faint guess in his heart. It wasn't a secret that he was a water snake. Although Wan Yu was said to be good at close combat, Lin Yuan had the water monarch, innate skill provided by the system. Naturally, he could easily discover that the water element in the world rejected Xianyang, who was a fire-type mystical beast. However, it was very compatible with Wan Yu, so it was obvious that Wan Yu was also a water snake. Xianyang seemed to know some secrets, but Wan Yu didn't know anything. Otherwise, it wouldn't have such a sour expression. That mysterious dragon bloodline mystical beast seemed to have the intention of collecting the snake demons with the dragon bloodline. Moreover, it was especially targeting the water snake demons. Regarding its plan, the other types of snake demons more or less knew a little, but the water snake demons didn't. This meant that the dragon bloodline mystical beast definitely had something that it wanted the water snake demons to do. Therefore, it couldn't reveal the secret in advance, fearing that its subordinates would betray it. After receiving this information, Lin Yuan's heart calmed down a little. However, he quickly realized that something wasn't right. In the eyes of the dragon bloodline demonic beast, it wasn't difficult for him to earn a smart evaluation for his previous actions, so it most likely wouldn't treat him as a simple-minded demonic beast. Xianyang and Wan Yu in front of him might have been deliberately arranged by the dragon bloodline demonic beast, but what was its purpose? Or could it be that it wasn't targeting the water snake demons, but him? Lord Black Snake, Wan Yu and I will be under your command during this period of time. If you need anything, you can tell us to do it at any time. Xianyang smiled as he interrupted Lin Yuan's train of thought. A dangerous light flickered in his red vertical pupils. Wan Yu turned its head to the side and said in a low muffled voice, "I'll say this first. If your orders are too stupid, I won't carry them out. Especially if it's a suicidal order. I'll kill you first." Ding. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the temporary loyalty of 2 snake demons. Please enter the relationship model for more details. The system broadcast sounded in Lin Yuan's mind. Lin Yuan casually glanced at the temporary loyalty that had just appeared in the relationship model. He roughly understood it. Similar to mercenaries and allied troops, if they were under Lin Yuan's command, they would have a temporary loyalty. This made it easier for Lin Yuan to filter out those who mixed into his troops. At this moment, there were only these 2 snake demons in front of him in the temporary loyalty column. Level 5 Mystical Young Python of Wisdom Realm. Loyalty 0. Level 5 Mystical Young Python of Wisdom Realm. Loyalty 30-inch. Lin Yuan fell silent. That respectful Xianyang didn't have any loyalty to him, but the prideful Wan Yu actually had 30 points of loyalty. Chapter 135. In the Stoneclaw Forest, there was an undercurrent. The origin of the Blood Claw wasn't a secret. After all, its scales were engraved with the emblem of the Green Swamp Clan. For an existence of the Blood Claw's level to arrive, it obviously wouldn't be finished with just Lin Yuan and Mendu's words. Not to mention that the Blood Claw didn't come to help Lin Yuan clean up the hidden dangers of the Scarlet Flame Swamp. Even if that was the case, the various monster clans of the Stoneclaw Forest would still have to pay a visit to the Blood Claw. Today was the day that the leaders of the 3 clans came together, so the entire Stoneclaw clan was a bit busy. The mountain-shaking apes of the Stoneclaw clan all knew that this new imperial envoy didn't get along with the Beast King. So when they received the Blood Claw, they had to be careful of the 3 clans who didn't give up their evil intentions and use the Blood Claw's matter to attack the Stoneclaw clan for the position of Beast King. There were all kinds of monsters coming and going in the Stoneclaw clan's territory. If it was in normal times, such a grand occasion would definitely be a day of celebration for all the monsters in the Stoneclaw Forest. However, the mountain-shaking apes of the Stoneclaw clan still maintained their vigilance. Not only did the number of mountain-shaking apes not decrease, it even doubled. How stupid! Xianyang, who followed Lin Yuan to the Stoneclaw clan, raised his eyelids and casually said, "It's true that the 3 clans' vitality has been greatly damaged, but the Stoneclaw clan isn't any better. If they were to fight again at this time, the Stoneclaw clan's side would definitely lose. Instead of being cautious, it's better to use a diversion tactic. This way, the monsters of the 3 clans won't dare to act rashly." Lin Yuan turned his eyes and looked at Xianyang meaningfully. He didn't expect a monster to have such a strategic mind. Indeed, the Shattered Stone clan had lost Mendu as a stabilizing force. Moreover, they had suffered a lot of losses in the previous battle with the other 3 clans. If they were to fight again, the Shattered Stone clan would definitely lose. Previously, the 3 clans didn't dare to rebel because the Beast King position couldn't be changed too quickly. Moreover, Mendu and Lin Yuan were very powerful. Therefore, they were able to intimidate those small fries. If he were to play the empty fort stratagem, the demonic beasts of the 3 big clans might think that Lin Yuan had invited some powerful external help, just like when he was dealing with the Red Blaze Crocodile King. Now that things have come to this, there's no point in saying more. A cold glint flashed in Scroll Moon's eyes as she said with a gloomy face, Let's go in and take a look at the situation first. If that blood claw lizard insists on looking for trouble, we'll just kill it and be done with it. Scroll Moon's words directly and vividly portrayed the word boorish. However, Lin Yuan and Xianyang didn't have any intention of looking down on Scroll Moon. Because this guy said so, because they had the strength to back it up. One of the two Wisdom Realm Level 5 demonic beasts could easily stall the Blood Claw, and the other one could cooperate with Lin Yuan to easily crush those demonic beasts that wanted to take advantage of the situation. Although the method was simple and crude, Lin Yuan still considered it as a backup plan. Thus, under Lin Yuan's lead, the three pythons slowly twisted their bodies and entered the Shattered Stone Clan's territory. When the alert mountain-shaking apes saw Lin Yuan appear, they clearly let out a sigh of relief. After all, Lin Yuan was now considered a war hero in the Shattered Stone Clan. In the absence of Meng Do, it wasn't an exaggeration to call Lin Yuan their pillar of support. Now that Lin Yuan had appeared here, it meant that this matter could be resolved peacefully. Even if they had to pay a price, it wouldn't cause the Shattered Stone Clan to be completely annihilated. The three giant pythons with the blood of the Dragon Clan in their bodies slowly moved forward. Whether it was the mountain-shaking ape or the other demonic beasts, they couldn't help but step back, making way for these three snake demons who didn't care about anyone else. Although they hadn't transformed into real Jiao dragons yet, the pressure in their blood would still make these demonic beasts feel terrified if they didn't suppress it. 2,000 meters away, the Blood Claw sitting on the main seat had a slight change in expression. Its cold gaze only paused on Lin Yuan for a moment before it cast its gaze on the two Wisdom Realm Level 5 demonic beasts. Snake Demon, Wisdom Realm Level 5, with dragon bloodline in its body. The appearance of any one of this level was a big deal in the outer area of the Hengduan mountain range, but now three of them appeared in a row. This scene made many demonic beasts want to retreat. The Blood Claw didn't care what these cannon fodder-like demonic beasts thought. What it cared about was that after Lin Yuan left for a few days, he actually found two helpers who were not weaker than Lin Yuan. If it were other helpers, it would be fine, but they were both snake demons with dragon bloodline. This showed that Lin Yuan's previous state of suspicion was obviously not groundless. There was really a tribe with dragon bloodline behind him. In other words, Lin Yuan was originally a member of this tribe, but he hadn't awakened his bloodline before, so he was left to fend for himself in the demonic beast's forest. Now Lin Yuan had shown the talent of transforming into a flood dragon. Even the dragon palace of the Four Seas was willing to bow down to such a genius, like Lin Yuan, let alone a tribe of dragon bloodline demonic beasts entrenched in the Hengduan mountain range. Vaguely, the Blood Claw had a bit of an ominous premonition. Its pair of amber vertical pupils slightly turned, its gaze drifting and looking at the surrounding environment. It seemed to be thinking about how it could find a suitable way to escape if Lin Yuan suddenly attacked. After all, Na Qin's sudden attack to kill the transparent lizard was too sudden. Mendo definitely didn't have the guts to bet the entire Broken Stone clan with Lin Yuan. Therefore, the person who signaled Na Qin to attack could only be Lin Yuan. This also meant that Lin Yuan had guessed its intention, and didn't intend to wait for death. He was trying to keep them all in the Stoneclaw forest. Lin Yuan saw the Blood Claw's action and guessed its thoughts. Sneering in his heart, Lin Yuan didn't suddenly attack. Instead, he went to the area below the main seat, and silently stared at the Blood Claw who was sitting on pins and needles. The monster beasts of the three great clans were nothing to worry about. As long as he had enough time to develop, even if he created some creatures himself, he could easily crush the so-called three great clans. Therefore, the only opponent that Lin Yuan cared about was this large lizard from the Green Swamp clan. Guan Yu and Xianyang were holding the line. If the Blood Claw could escape even with this, Lin Yuan might as well cut off his own head and send it to the Green Swamp to be eaten by the rock skin. Perhaps that way, he could die a quicker death. Hee, isn't this our Lord Beast King? Sorry you weren't here before, so I had to sit on the main seat. Since Brother Black Snake has returned, I naturally should give up my seat, right? The Blood Claw stood up and said with a smile. Chapter 136. No need. You're a guest. Besides, you're a big shot sent by the Grassy clan to solve the hidden danger of the Red Flame Swamp. Even if I stand aside and pour tea for you, it's only right. A mere seat is not worth mentioning. No matter how thick-skinned the Blood Claw was, Lin Yuan had no intention of biting the bait. Lin Yuan was very clear about his own capabilities, so he was very sure that once he was provoked by the Blood Claw's words and really walked to the main seat, it meant that he was betting his life on the Blood Claw. He didn't believe that his level 2 golden body invocation could withstand the instantaneous eruption of a demon beast around level 5 of the Wisdom Realm. Seeing that Lin Yuan wasn't fooled, the Blood Claw couldn't find any topic to talk about. It could only helplessly shrug its shoulders, but it didn't sit down again. Instead, it meaningfully looked at the black snake that had forced it into a dead end. Scheming, strength, and potential. If it wasn't for the fact that Lin Yuan and the Rockskin clan's leader had killed his son, the Rockskin clan's leader would be very happy to accept Lin Yuan, this demon talent, instead of stubbornly wanting to strangle Lin Yuan, this good seedling with limitless potential, to death in the cradle. Lord Bloodclaw, you wouldn't take my young master's joke seriously, right? Xianyang suddenly interrupted in a strange tone and said proudly, "You don't even look at your own status. You're just a lackey. When your master sees my young master, he has to bow respectfully. You actually want my young master to pour tea for you?" The moment Xianyang's voice fell, the entire Rockskin clan's territory held their breath. No one would have thought that this red python that looked like Lin Yuan's follower would have such a fierce tone. It was as if it had eaten gunpowder, and its words were directed at the Blood Claw, almost calling it a slave to its face. The Blood Claw was so angry that it laughed. The timidity that it didn't want to fight was instantly thrown to the back of its head, and its gaze toward Xianyang was filled with killing intent. It didn't know the origin of the dragon bloodline demon beast behind Lin Yuan, but with the support of a dragon bloodline demon beast that could grow dragon saliva grass. Wasn't it amazing? Their Green Swamp clan had 3 demon beasts of the desolate demon realm. Not good. Lin Yuan secretly cried in his heart. He suddenly realized that Xianyang's strange tone at this moment, naturally, it wasn't to help him, but to deliberately provoke the Blood Claw's anger. Once this big lizard took the bait, it would naturally fall into Xianyang's hands, and in the end, it wouldn't be able to escape death. And no matter how cleanly Lin Yuan did it, today's matter, today's matter, today's would definitely be heard by the swamps. Swamp. In other words, before Lin Yuan had the strength to fight against the demon beasts of the desolate demon realm, he had to obediently become Xianyang's tool. Even if the master behind Xianyang gave any order, Lin Yuan would have to do his best to complete it. Otherwise, the master behind Xianyang would withdraw the protection of Lin Yuan and let the Green Swamp clan directly deal with this treacherous demon beast. But the atmosphere had already been pushed to this point. Even if Lin Yuan wanted to laugh it off, he still had to see if the crimson-eyed Blood Claw was willing. From the other party's eyes, Lin Yuan could easily see that the Blood Claw had already begun to think about how to cut him and Xianyang into pieces to vent its anger. They were both Wisdom Realm level 5 demon beasts, but was the gap between them really so huge? Xianyang had only provoked the Blood Claw once in a strange tone, and the Blood Claw directly exploded like a balloon. Good, very good. The Blood Claw sneered and slowly said, "Then I would like to experience your skills today. Let's see how the clan behind you does not put my Green Swamp clan in their eyes." The Blood Claw hated Xianyang to the core, but it didn't know that Lin Yuan wasn't feeling any better than it at this moment. This was the first time in Lin Yuan's life that he had been schemed against by someone right under his nose. But he still had to swallow it down. After all, Xianyang had opened his mouth to protect his face. He couldn't possibly lower himself and shamelessly apologize to the Blood Claw, right? It was true that the Blood Claw came from a powerful clan, but a clan was a clan, and a person was a person. In the Green Swamp clan, the Blood Claw's position might not even be higher than him, a peripheral beast king, let alone any benefits. If the Blood Claw only represented him to target Lin Yuan, there was no need for Xianyang, or want you to make a move. Lin Yuan could easily let him know the meaning of regret. Unfortunately, the Blood Claw was using the identity of an imperial envoy this time, and his attitude was also very good. If the Blood Claw was really silently killed by Lin Yuan in the Stoneclaw Forest, the Green Swamp clan would not send people to secretly cause trouble next time. Instead, it was very likely that they would directly send existences from the desolate demon realm to kill him. Even if the Blood Claw had to die, it would have to die in the hands of Xianyang or Wan Yu, even if it was under his orders. When the Green Swamp clan wanted to understand him, they would have to consider whether it was worth it to start a war with the clan behind Lin Yuan for an illegitimate child with no talent and a cold demon beast commander. Xianyang, since Lord Bloodclaw has spoken, then you should go up and experience it. Lin Yuan slightly coiled up his body, looking as if he was ready to watch a good show. Even Xianyang, who had schemed against Lin Yuan, could not help but be speechless at this moment. After all, he and Wan Yu were partners, and they had their own roles to play. An existence like Wan Yu was meant to engage in close combat with powerful opponents, while he was only responsible for pulling Lin Yuan into the situation, or tying Lin Yuan to their ship that was temporarily hidden in the fog. Now that Lin Yuan had suddenly ordered him to take action, he actually did not react in time. Was this guy really so petty? Not using the powerful Wan Yu, he had to force him to fight the Blood Claw? It was not that Xianyang was afraid of the Blood Claw, but as a demon beast that relied on its head to traverse the Hengduan mountain range, it would probably choose the best strategy. For example, if Wan Yu were to take action at this time, it would easily defeat the Blood Claw. Even if the other demon beasts wanted to revolt, they would not have the guts to do so. What are you still standing there for? Go! Lin Yuan rolled his eyes at Xianyang and urged in a hurried tone. Didn't you not put Commander Xianyang in your eyes just now? Go and see if you really have the strength to do so. Lin Yuan's words were not very successful. At least, at this moment, Xianyang still did not have the means to fight the Blood Claw. However, Lin Yuan's words were obviously not just for Xianyang to hear. Before Xianyang could refute, the furious Blood Claw had already rushed over, its claws and fangs attacking Xianyang's body. He wanted to see what kind of ability this guy who directly called him a slave had. Chapter 137. A lizard and a snake demon instantly engaged in a fierce battle. Within a radius of 100 miles, the flames summoned by Xianyang instantly burned the land into scorched earth. Some of the weaker demon beasts that couldn't be pushed away in time were also turned into ashes in the first round of confrontation between the two. That's right, please do not blindly believe in movies and novels, especially in the world of martial arts. If you ran to the side to watch a battle between big shots of this level, let alone being able to comprehend anything with your level of comprehension, so what if you could comprehend something? For those who were not strong enough, even watching a battle between big shots was an extravagant hope. Even if they were not doing it on purpose, just a casual shockwave from the battle would be enough to make you suffer. Beside Lin Yuan, Curly Moon swung her tail and shattered a huge fireball that was flying towards her. She looked at Lin Yuan with a trace of hidden bitterness in her eyes and said anxiously, "Milord doesn't allow us to move around as we please. Although we usually train with other clansmen, this is our first time fighting outside. It's rare for such an evenly matched opponent to appear, yet you actually let Xianyang go up?" Lin Yuan smiled but did not say anything. He did not respond to Curly Moon's words. After all, he could not tell Curly Moon that Xianyang's words had already dragged him into the water. If he did not give Xianyang an unforgettable punishment, he was afraid that Xianyang would become even more arrogant in the future. It was even possible that he would do something even more excessive. "Don't worry, your opponent is on the way. He'll be here soon." Lin Yuan glanced sideways with his heterochromatic eyes and said mysteriously. A trace of doubt flashed through Curly Moon's eyes, but she still chose to believe in Lin Yuan. After all, he was an existence that Milord had personally chosen. Otherwise, Curly Moon and Xianyang would not have left their own cultivation paradise, and specially come to help Lin Yuan get through this calamity. Soon, a green-skinned lizard appeared in Lin Yuan and Wan Yu's line of sight. Lin Yuan pointed at the lizard army and said expressionlessly, Here, your opponent. Even though Lin Yuan was a beast king, he still had the body of a beast king. However, a part of his body could be said to be gifted. For example, a primate-type monster like the mountain-shaking ape could stand up like a human and use their clumsy hands to use simple tools or weapons. The lizard monsters of the Green Marsh clan were not like the Komodo lizards that Lin Yuan knew. They were creatures that crawled on the ground on all fours. Instead, they were more similar to the lizardmen in Western fantasy novels. Although their bodies were much larger than humans, they were humanoid creatures. They all wore warrior armor and held various weapons in their hands. Their aggressive appearance was not inferior to a human army's charge in the slightest. This kind of lizard demon beast would almost never be slaughtered and eaten in the human empire. Instead, their will would be slowly refined by confinement until they completely surrendered. They would be sent to various kinds of extremely dangerous places like mines to work. The food they received every day was only enough to prevent them from starving to death. Even some human nobles with more unique tastes were exceptionally fond of this kind of female beast. The Green Marsh clan had clearly broken away from the low-level lizardmen tribes. Although the weapons and armor on their bodies were relatively old, Lin Yuan could vaguely recognize that they were all standard equipment. They should have been replaced by some human army, and then purchased by the Green Marsh clan to arm their own people. They had secret transactions with the humans. In a sense, they could be considered evil. Lin Yuan roughly estimated that there were about 34 lizard demonic beasts charging over. All of them were equipped with heavy infantry equipment, and their momentum was not inferior to that of the previous batch of heavy armored warriors in Mountain Blocking City. Due to the physical limit of this world, the heavy infantry equipment worn by Lin Yuan in his previous world might not even be as heavy as the light infantry equipment worn by this world's army. Therefore, the heavy infantry equipment referred to here was the kind that could brave the frail human body and directly withstand the attacks of the demonic beasts. Faced with the assault of such a terrifying force, even the heavy armor warriors of Mountain Blocking City would have no choice but to evade for the time being. They would not dare to charge at the same time as the other party, as doing so would only result in them being knocked to the ground and trampled to death. However, facing such a heavy armored army, not only did Wan Yu's eyes not reveal any fear, but instead she appeared abnormally excited. Without needing Lin Yuan to say anything, Wan Yu swung her snake body and directly charged towards the lizard monsters. Not to mention Xian Yang and Blood Claw, Wan Yu and the lizard warriors, the surrounding demonic beasts even forgot to breathe. Wasn't today the day to pay a visit to the big boss of the Green Swamp clan? Why were the beast kings of the Stoneclaw Forest directly fighting with the demonic beasts of the Green Swamp clan? Moreover, both sides had an unusual tacit understanding, as if they had rehearsed countless times and predicted that the other party would make a move at this time. Therefore, they had long made arrangements. Now that the battle was chaotic, there was no clear winner. Lin Yuan's 2 bodyguards were pinned down by the people of the Green Swamp clan. The Gate City was not within the territory of the Stoneclaw clan, and the defenses of the Stoneclaw clan were easily broken through by them. If they suddenly made a move at this time, they would directly become the heavy bargaining chip that determined the outcome of the battle. Not counting the demonic beasts from the smaller clans that came to make up the numbers, the leaders of the 3 clans also began to look at Lin Yuan, as if they were considering whether to make a move and directly kill Lin Yuan, the Beast King, and replace him. Black Snake, hand over your life. A young black tortoise was the first to lose control of its killing intent. With a roar, it charged towards Lin Yuan with large strides. Lin Yuan, on the other hand, only indifferently turned his head and glanced at the black tortoise. There was not the slightest ripple in his eyes, as if everything was within his expectations. Seeing Lin Yuan's attitude, the rest of the demonic beasts stopped the restlessness in their hearts. After all, although this black snake's reputation was not very good, no one could deny that it was indeed an outstanding beast king. It was also a rare demonic beast that was more cunning than humans. Even the Green Swamp clan had been schemed to death by it. How could they, the demonic beasts with disloyal hearts, escape from Lin Yuan's scheme? So, a snow-white afterimage streaked across the sky. A deformed frost wolf man with shrunken forepaws stood up, his eyes cold. Sons of the Winterwolf clan, follow me to protect Sir Beast King. Chapter 138. Wolves were creatures that hunted in packs. In every powerful wolf pack, the strongest was the alpha wolf, but the smartest was a creature called Bay. Due to their congenital deformity, their front claws were particularly short, and they could not even rely on their own strength to walk. They could only crawl on the bodies of other wolves to move. It could also be said that creatures like Bay had almost no ability to live independently. But in the cruel nature, Bay was an existence that was born with a deformed body, but was not abandoned by the wolf pack. Naturally, it also had its own uniqueness such as intelligence. Even the Bay of wild beasts could be regarded as the brain of the entire wolf pack. Before hunting, the smart Bay would arrange the entire hunting plan. Its intelligence was even far beyond that of the fox, which was famous for its cunning. Therefore, in Lin Yuan's view, the Bay of demonic beasts might be a wise man that was not inferior to the three-eyed ape. But just now, when the Bay took the initiative to kill the black tortoise, and clearly stood on Lin Yuan's side, it also perfectly interpreted in front of Lin Yuan what it meant to be too smart for one's own cleverness. The Bay thought that Lin Yuan's indifference was because he had already prepared for it. If it was determined to stand against Lin Yuan, it might not even be able to ensure the reproduction of its tribe, and the entire Winterwolf clan might be destroyed. Therefore, the most ambitious of the three clans, the Winterwolf clan, was the first to stand out, and even stood on Lin Yuan's side as a loyal subject. In fact, Lin Yuan was not prepared at all. His indifference was completely because he had no way to deal with the rebellion of the three clans. Panicking could not solve the problem. He could only hope that Wan Yu and Xianyang would end the battle as soon as possible, and then help him quell the rebellion of the three clans. Therefore, when the Boulder clan took the lead to betray him, although Lin Yuan looked calm, he was actually panicking inside. However, with the Winterwolf clan as an example, the Hunting Wind clan's foxes, who reacted quickly, also organized a formation at the first moment, and surrounded the black tortoises who took the lead to betray him. If Lin Yuan did not know that the three clans coveted his Beast King throne, he would have thought that the Winterwolf clan and the Hunting Wind clan were more loyal to him than the Boulder clan. Yu, the leader of the Boulder clan, was dumbfounded. With its level of intelligence, it could see that the Black Snake falling out with the Green Swamp clan was the best opportunity for them to overthrow the Black Snake's rule. Furthermore, it had even activated its innate divination ability. Although it wasn't auspicious, the divination didn't have anything to do with the word ominous. This meant that as long as they worked together, even if they couldn't kill the Black Snake, it would be an easy task to chase this annoying fellow away. However, it did not expect that after it had just made its first move, its two most solid allies actually gave up on it without any hesitation and turned to Lin Yuan. Coupled with the mountain-shaking apes surrounding them, the leader of the Boulder clan, no matter how simple-minded he was, knew that the scales of victory had completely tilted towards the Black Snake. We surrender. The leader of the Boulder clan resolutely chose to follow his heart when he sensed the ferocious gazes directed at him. As the leader's voice rang out, other than the black tortoise at the front line who couldn't withdraw for the time being, the rest of the black tortoises all lay down as if they were waiting to be slaughtered. Lin Yuan still maintained an indifferent expression as he looked at the situation that had inexplicably tilted towards him. His heart was in turmoil, but he didn't show it on his face. A rebellion that had a 70% chance of success was surrounded by his own people as soon as the first shot was fired. Twisting his snake body, Lin Yuan slowly came before the leader of the Boulder clan and said expressionlessly, "The last war was because the position of Beast King was vacant, so I didn't hold you responsible afterwards. But now, you've started a rebellion again. If I let you go, the Stoneclaw Forest won't have any peaceful days in the future." The black tortoise leader silently lowered its head. If it was proficient in human language, it might have fiercely glared at the two leaders of the Winterwolf clan and Huntwind clan, then spat on the ground and cursed with a face full of resentment. "Bastards are not worthy of my schemes." But this king has just taken over after all, so it's not good for him to punish you too cruelly. Therefore, this king can spare you from death, but you still have to bear the responsibility. Yes, take away all of the Boulder clan's territory. 2/3 of it will be given to the Winterwolf clan and Huntwind clan, and the remaining 1/3 will be given to the Intelligence Realm monsters that have just joined the Stoneclaw Forest to manage. As for you, you will be banished to the Scarlet Flame Swamp. Do you have any objections? Lin Yuan's pair of different colored eyes slightly narrowed as he questioned the Black Tortoise leader condescendingly. In the eyes of the Black Tortoise leader, the previous conditions were actually just SOSO. After all, there must be a price for the failure of the rebellion. Compared to the fate of the entire clan being annihilated, the conditions of only taking away the territory and banishing them outside the territory were already considered generous, so the Black Tortoise leader did not choose to speak at first. However, after hearing Lin Yuan's final judgment, the Black Tortoise leader trembled all over and looked at Lin Yuan in disbelief with a serious expression. Scarlet Flame Swamp? That place is nothing now. If such a large Black Tortoise clan migrated to the current Scarlet Flame Swamp, many of its clansmen would starve to death in less than 3 days. And this was just the beginning. After all, there were not many monsters left in the Scarlet Flame Swamp, and it was impossible to support the survival of a large Black Tortoise clan. Moreover, there were probably no spiritual items in that place now. Even if there were spiritual items that had not been excavated, they would not be able to form a large scale in a short period of time, and many of its clansmen would starve to death. In less than half a year, the Boulder clan would be reduced from one of the 4 major clans to a small clan that could barely survive. Good heavens, you call this a punishment that is not too cruel? You are going to exterminate my Black Tortoise clan. The leaders of the Winterwolf clan and the Hunting Wind clan looked at each other in dismay. They seemed to find a trace of sorrow in each other's eyes. Although the 3 major clans were not happy with each other, it was just that the Boulder clan was too strong in the past, so they joined forces. But now, the Boulder clan was no longer a threat, so there was no need for the 3 clans to stick together. However, there was still some affection between them before. Black Serpent deprived all the territory of the Boulder clan and divided it equally among the 3 parties, and also introduced new forces. The era of the Stoneclaw Forest's 4 major clans was probably completely over in the eyes of Black Serpent. Right now, the Boulder clan was forced to a dead end. No one knew if they would be the next Boulder clan. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Sword of Destiny YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.